All right, everybody, welcome. We are on the road to WrestleMania, and this is WrestleMania week. WrestleMania 41 is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday from Lost Wages, Nevada. Man, but I wish it felt like WrestleMania week. You know, there are certain words that we use like buzz and jazzed and all kinds of stuff, and that may come later in the week. But I feel like, I don't know, man, that might not be it this time. So I'm Danny, Big D, joined by Draven over here. We're going to be talking about the build to WrestleMania 41. The final week is upon us.
The
And
build or the dismantling? Because I don't think this is a build. They are dismantling week to week the build to WrestleMania.
yeah, we'll get into all of that. Now, you texted me, I want to say yesterday, I think it was, where you proclaimed that you will not be going to Vegas. Now, in the
I'm not.
past, you know, Vegas is about a 4-hour drive for you, and you've gone just to kind
Three,
of
three,
enjoy.
3.5. If I'm feeling that Dominic Toretto vibe, if you know what I'm saying, I could get us. I'll get us there in 3.5, brother. But I don't have his
Well, you're not
superpowers.
Winston Wolf. You're not Winston Wolf,
But
brother.
I also don't have Dom Toretto superpowers where I go ricochet off a car into another car and land sitting down and just put it in neutral and take off.
That's right. You don't have those powers, bro. Only the magic of Hollywood can give that to you. Which, you know, you're not that far from Hollywood, so you'll have it closer than I will.
And the
But
magic and the magic of Mark Sinclair putting his foot down and booking him to do that stuff, you know.
what pops me is, in real life, I'm like in Vegas, I was like, it's a 5-hour drive, and you go more like 4.5 if I drive fast. So now you're saying 3.5. I think next time it'll be 2.5, bro.
It'll be like Tonga, bro, and the Tonga stories that we've been popping for. They get more
Well,
outrageous by the minute.
except that those are real.
Hmm.
So you said you will not be going there. Originally, you were gonna go to Vegas, maybe to watch some indie shows and just hang out and kick it, and maybe get a ticket for WrestleMania if you were feeling the vibe. But now you're proclaiming you will not be going.
Yes. I'm just not feeling the vibe, bro. I'm not feeling it this year. Maybe I'm getting older. Maybe uh but I'm just not excited for the show to be there live. I have a lot of friends that are gonna be there, as you do as well. It would have been fun, right? Because one thing I would have not been is bored. I mean, it's Vegas, you know. But I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. I wanted to save a little money. I'm going to the July AEW show. So I mean, it's not gonna be as big of a spectacle, but it's gonna be a pretty big show. So I will be going to Dalasu in the summer. I got TNA coming to town in a couple weeks. So my wrestling is gonna be good. My live wrestling attending is gonna be good for now. I just went to MLW, I just went to AEW. So it's all good.
Man, no, and that's good. I'm glad that you're still going to shows, because I know that you were kind of flirting with the idea of retiring from going to wrestling, which I don't know, man. That doesn't sound like you. But this WrestleMania, it's a, you not going is a symptom of kind of what's been going on. So I do want to go through what we've seen for the past week. And to be honest with you, what we've seen for the past week has just not been very good. So let me explain what I mean by that. So in previous years, on the go home show for WrestleMania, now we still have Friday SmackDown, right? And we know that everyone will be there for that show because it's literally the day before Mania. So I am expecting something to happen on that SmackDown, and, you know, for us to get a good show. And I want to say this too. I don't think that WrestleMania will be disappointing from a work rate perspective. There's a lot of great matches. The talent's going to work hard. I think if we watch this WrestleMania, there's going to be stuff that we're going to enjoy. But that's not what WrestleMania should be. It shouldn't just be another pay-per-view with great matches. WrestleMania should be the season finale, the culmination, the biggest show of the year, and it doesn't really feel like that this time around. What I was going to talk about is this past SmackDown and this past Raw. I watched both the shows. And typically in previous years, when we are this close to WrestleMania, WWE does what's called an all hands on deck show, which means that we're going to get a lot of angles. We're going to get a lot of like tippy top stuff that, in many ways they wrote, a while back, or stuff that they had planned, or stuff that they just decided to really hit us with, because the goal of these last few shows to get those people who are on the fence about buying the show to buy it. However, because now we're in the streaming world, Peacock's like $8. The stress to squeeze $50 or $70 out of somebody's pocket doesn't seem to be there. That you know what I mean? That gana, as they say, as Jaime Escalante says, the gana is not there. These last two shows sucked. SmackDown was a complete waste of time for the most part. Raw was such a flat show. There were good matches on the show. There were things I liked about it. But about halfway through the show, I was just like, this show sucks, because I have my bar set high for something to happen on the road to WrestleMania, especially these last couple of weeks, and there's nothing. And here's the thing. I've seen a lot of excuses get thrown around. Oh, well, John Cena and Roman Reigns are part-timers. Yeah, and they knew that going into this. And the thing is about the part-timer thing is, okay, that's fair, right? Last year, Dwayne was a part-timer, and he still showed up on most weeks and even had a surprise appearance on the Chicago Raw. There's that. Plus, this whole Roman Reigns being a part-timer thing is weird, because if I remember correctly, the story was he was only sticking around in 2024 because he was supposed to drop the title. I'm sorry, 2023, because he was supposed to drop the title and take a break, and they gave him more time, and they said, okay, we're going to make you part-time. But now it seems like this guy's always going to be part-time. Now it seems that we're not going to see him that much anymore. And the issue with the bloodline angle is it got over not because he was wrestling every week, but because he was there backstage with the Usos, with Sami Zayn, with Paul every week. And now he's just not doing it anymore. And it does take away from the show. Cena being part-time, I mean, we talked about this, man. You're taking a part-timer, putting him in the world title picture. Cody doesn't even have a TV feud. In the past, when we've had a part-time problem with a wrestler, there's usually something for Cody or whoever the champion is to do on TV, like a little TV feud, maybe a couple week thing, like Austin Theory, one of those guys. Didn't even get that. Cody's barely on the show, cutting the same promo all the time. The other excuse that I'm hearing, and this one really pisses me off, is when they say, well, WrestleMania is later this year. It's later in the calendar. It's not early April, it's mid-April. But they knew this a year ago. Yes, WrestleMania is later in the calendar. It's on Easter Sunday. That's all true. You can't make excuses for this, man. They knew for a year that there was going to be a 7-week build between the Chambo and WrestleMania, and you can't, all right, enough with the excuses. The reality is all that stuff might matter, but they are creatively bankrupt this year, I feel.
No, I agree. Everything you said, I agree with 100%. I mean, I do feel there's some validity. It's not an excuse, though. Like this idea, oh, they had 7 weeks. It's something you learn from. So to me, if that is what's going on, if they peak too early, then they can't have that next year. If they cannot handle a 7-week build, then next year you don't do a 7-week build, because it's obvious it doesn't work. I think they peaked the weekend or the week where they had Cena and Cody cut the last promo. I think all the angles peaked during that week, maybe the week later. But to me, the last couple of weeks have seen them kind of be on neutral and just trying to get to the end zone. That's literally all they're trying to do, and it becomes very repetitious. It came to the point where, now, because they don't even know what to do with Gunther and Jey Uso. They just had him cut a promo, and then the other guy just came out with the stupid gimmick, because that's all he is a gimmick. He's a cult gimmick that we've seen through years. They ran out of gas. That feud ran out of gas. They did weeks of Gunther choking him out. Then all of a sudden, as I cut the promo last week here on this show, they had him. They retconned this entire story where Jey Uso was scared of him, even though he fucking picked him, which is fucking stupid. And then now it's like they just cut a promo. Now all of a sudden, Gunther is supposed to have doubts. Why? He's punked this guy throughout the entire run. He punked his brother out, and now all of a sudden he has doubts. Fuck that. So that angle petered out, for lack of a better term. And now they just cut a promo and a half.
I think Charlotte and Tiffany has become a complete disaster. I think it's similar to the Jey Uso versus Gunther thing, except that awkward segment on SmackDown has led to some chatter among the fans like, oh, is it going to be a work? Is it going to be a shoot? But I see that, which it's not going to be a shoot, folks. You're never going to see that. The days of Fred Kitao and John Tenta are over. All right. Those days are done, bro. The days of Naoya Ogawa and Shinya Hashimoto, unfortunately, are done. Right? They're done.
Okay, but here's what's gonna piss me off.
That feud did peter out also.
Well, it never really started. There was never really that feud never peaked.
That's a good point. It never really started.
But here's what's gonna piss me off, because WWE does this. That whenever something gets talked about, or they're seeing this whole controversy as a positive, because it got them talking without an actual storyline. So my concern is that they're gonna go into this match and they're gonna try to quasi-shoot, right? They're gonna have that fake shooting segment where it's like, oh my God.
Like the LA Knight Drew part where they're trying to fool people that are gullible.
But in the match, they're gonna like not cooperate. And I hate that, because it's gonna put the announcers, and we've talked about this before. I hate
the only guy who can get away with that is Minoru Suzuki, bro. That's the only guy who knows how to do it.
Yes, and maybe Ishii, maybe. But
who?
Ishii.
I know, bro. That's Bushwhacker Luke.
That's the other one they fucking killed. So they're gonna go in there and they're gonna do that fake shoot spot where Tiffany's gonna look worried, right? Oh my God. And then the stupid announcers are gonna look so dumb, because now they have to say in a roundabout way they're not following the script. And I hate when that happens. Watch, mark my words. When that happens on the show, I'm gonna text them and be like, see, I told you they were gonna have a spot like this, because they got people talking, they gotta show that they're not in it. And then hopefully later on it turns into a great match. But because I know these two women could have a great match, legit. But I think with all the gaga and the drama, they might try to like stuff it a little too much with the fake drama, and it's gonna hurt the match. But one interesting thing that was so weird was like John Cena and Cody are the main event of WrestleMania, the real main event, folks. I got news for you. There's only one main event, and it's that one. And they were nowhere to be seen on Raw. So to me, it's like, when was the last time that a main event on the show at WrestleMania was not on the go-home show of Raw? Like, since the Raw era,
No, not just that, but remember how I mentioned earlier about how sometimes they would give somebody a TV challenger? All it took is to have, again, I'm going to use Austin Theory as an example. Cody's in the ring, out comes Austin Theory. And Theory, even though Cena's not there, is kind of like Cena's fanboy saying, well, I beat him a couple years ago, Cody, but this is a different John Cena. He's got Dwayne with him. I don't think you can win. And then that could lead to a TV match with Cody. I just booked that in the last 2 minutes.
Bro,
like, in the past, we've gotten stuff like that.
But they can't even say Dwayne's name. I don't even think that's part of the canon anymore.
Well, they said it on the
yeah, but they said it's a throwaway line. You sold out to Dwayne. But the thing is, here's another thing that trips me out. Okay, here's another thing that trips me out. During the videos, they make these videos to build up the matches. Nobody talks about the Elimination Chamber angle. It's like it never happened. That's not part of the hype video. We're supposed to believe that the first week of build-up was that first John Cena interview where he came out and he cut those two horrible promos back to back, and then he got the good one on week 3. That's what we're supposed to believe. Other hype videos just have John Cena and Cody talking. They don't have anything about Elimination Chamber. It's like it was eliminated from history. Usually
I just think they're trying to get us to forget about Dwayne because he'll appear at WrestleMania. But if he doesn't, then it's going to be a big mystery.
But even if he does, it's already a big mystery. Like, what a weird fucking build for this, because it's like two different storylines. You know, it's like if he does appear at WrestleMania with Travis Scott, one of our boys, like
That's not one of my guys.
Brother, it's like part one is fucking Elimination Chamber, and part two is WrestleMania, and you could forget all the middle part because that's a whole nother storyline. Like,
it's like the sequel trilogy.
Well, I made a reference last week to Daredevil, right? Where like the promos with Cody and John Cena was the patch job, the middle episodes, and then the real main event is fucking the Benson and Moorhead episodes from week 1 and week 8 and 9.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I mean, and the thing is, it's disappointing because we talked about this on the first show that we did, that I want them to give us something
Dewey might be at the Dome Tokyo, bro, with that shirt he was wearing.
He might be.
And staring at a Rubik's Cube and shit, saying, I know all the right moves.
Well, it's wacky, bro. That is wacky. AI is amazing.
Maybe he'll bring Naito with him, bro.
You know what, bro? If it was Cody versus Naito, I might be more excited.
No, he'll bring Naito as his enforcer, bro. He'll do this shit.
Yeah. I remember when I was walking out of the Dome Tokyo in 2020 when Naito won, this random Japanese guy turns around and goes like this to me. And at first I thought he was calling me round eyes. That was the first thing. Then I realized.
Did he have the Naito, aka the Randy Savage hair going too?
No, he didn't. He had short hair. He was one of them tall, skinny ones, and he went like this to me. I didn't know the guy, and I really thought he was implying, because this is when you're Asian and you do this. That's kind of like them making fun of us for having different eyes than them, bro. They call us,
bro.
They're very xenophobic, bro. They call us round eyes. And when I say us, I mean non-Asians.
But I like how you said a random Japanese in Japan, bro. He's just a Japanese. Like,
he's just, well, I'm saying I didn't know the guy. He wasn't part of my group.
But that's like if you were saying that we were at the WrestleMania 37 and a random American came to us. It's just an American. Because there's so many of them.
I was specifying Japanese because I was sitting with the gaijin. Remember, folks, or maybe you don't know this. I'm sure you know. I think I told you. If you're a gaijin, if you are a non-Japanese, you cannot sit on the floor at Tokyo Dome. They don't have that. That's only for the Japanese citizens. You have to sit where the rest of the gaijin sit, bro.
So what about in Saudi Arabia, bro?
Segregation, bro.
What about in Saudi Arabia, bro? If you're a virgin, you cannot sit from.
I did bring a woman with me to Tokyo Dome, regretfully so. So I would have been okay in Saudi Arabia.
Good, bro, because in Saudi Arabia, the virgins got the nosebleeds.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but we're gonna go into some more of the stuff here. Yeah, like I said. Very disappointed. We still have this week's SmackDown to come, and it might be a good show. It might not be. Ultimately, I want to get excited, but I will say this, like I am going to say this now. If they do give us a good SmackDown, I might get excited because as a mark, I want to enjoy this show. I don't want to go into this WrestleMania like the way I feel now, which the way I feel now is, hey, WrestleMania is this Sunday or this Saturday too. I'm going to have a fun weekend watching wrestling. That's how I feel now. Whereas last year and the year before and the year before that, I was like, yo, it's WrestleMania week. I used to get up. Like there used to be this nice little, for wrestling fans, the week of WrestleMania where you wake up on that Monday and you realize we're only a few days away. And brother, I have felt that since I was a little kid. And here's the trippy part. I felt that even for the bad WrestleManias like 9, 11. I felt that for WrestleMania 13. Like, you don't
that wasn't a bad WrestleMania.
No, but I'm saying like the ones that like, I'm just giving you examples that I went all the way back when I was a kid, especially WrestleMania 10, bro. I love that show. But I like the feeling of getting excited for WrestleMania the week of, and it's just not there this year, and I hate that.
Yes.
Because I want it to be there.
Right. No, you're right. And I have the same thing, and I'm not feeling it this year. To me, it's just another regular week. I mean,
It's just a 2-night event.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff going on too. Like I know that AEW has a pay-per-view caliber show tonight and tomorrow, especially tonight with their spring break show. And then you have
the fuck Eric Bischoff show is what I'm calling it.
And then you have, well, he deserves it. And then you have a lot of the indie stuff that's gonna happen, like the Bloodsport show, the Collective, which is all these the WrestleCon show.
Game Changer
Brother,
Wrestling.
Dickie Morton is gonna wrestle this weekend.
That's right. With all the old timers.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go to that at least.
And a scramble match, bro. We haven't seen a scramble match in years.
Senior Citizen Scramble, I think it's called, or something like that. I hope they put walkers and canes around the ring, bro. See, that would pop me. And to win the match, you have to get the Viagra bottle off the pole.
You were definitely lost in Cleveland because I showed you that flyer, and then you hit me up a couple days later, excited, saying if I had seen this. And I'm like, I just showed it to him. But
sounds like I was. I mean, you might be right about that. All right, the John Green says, Mr. Big
not
D,
not Tom Green, unfortunately. It's John.
I wish. He said, I believe that this has been an amazing build. Y'all need to trust Paul and let him cook. Rock will have his way. Stop being so negative.
Okay, let me answer this because I don't want you to get riled up.
You answer it, bro. Because
first of all,
oh my God!
I wish you were Tom Green.
Oh, where's my JR fucking? Oh,
we gotta think a little bit.
Little fella over here, John Green, the little fella. You go ahead, bro. I'm not gonna be mean to him. You be mean.
The thing is that Tom Green, like these blanket statements with absolutely no proof to prove your argument are completely worthless. Any words are free. You just said this has been an amazing build. How is that? You show us how. Like type it. Like you can't. These questions are completely irrelevant. They have no premise because it's a blanket statement. Anybody could make these claims. Look at the energy even of the internet, right? Nobody's hyped for this show. You can't deny facts. WrestleMania.
Well, I'm hyped, and that's all I care about. That's his.
Then it's a very ignorant counter. But let's look at the facts. WrestleMania is not sold out. It has something like 50,000 tickets out, which it's never happened before. They're barely making it to 50. Usually they're already at 60 at this point.
That's right. Usually it is more.
There is no show this weekend presented by WWE that is sold out. Think about that for a minute. Think about where they were 6 months ago. SmackDown still has tickets. The Hall of Fame still has tickets, and that's a small little theater. Raw the next night still has tickets, and WrestleMania, and of course, Stand and Deliver they always have tickets. So look at the facts. That's how you know the booking is working or not working. How many people are put in the seats, and there's not that many. And of course you could counter argue that with the pricing being out of this world, but then again, we already talked about the price gouging. It's insane.
Yes. I think that's a big reason. I think that the price gouging is going to affect the ticket sales. No matter what, it's going to affect it because no matter you're going to have some wealthy people. You're going to have people save up their money for WrestleMania. You're going to have some that are saving up.
That should be in the top deck.
You're gonna have people that are saving up that are gonna be like, damn, this is how much nosebleeds cost, but I don't really care that much about the match. I'll just watch it from the best seat in the building, which is right at home on the couch. That's what Todd Pettengill used to always say. You can watch it from the best seat in the house, your house, bro. House, yeah, in your house, a house.
But we also know that the Von Erichs really have the best seat in the house. According to Carrie.
That's right, bro. Hey, listen, I got to say something about this, okay? And Carrie's right. Well, Carrie also said there's not two Mona Lisas, which Okada and Omega are going to settle at All In this year.
That's right.
What makes me laugh, and I'm just going to close out the question on this. We're literally explaining point by point why the buildup is not good. We're giving examples. We're giving our opinions with these examples. And this fucking guy says, "Nuh-uh, you're wrong. It is good." Well, you know what, bro? If you like it, great. Obviously, we don't, and we've given you reasons why. And you can't even sit there and say that we're being negative if you think that you're a complete idiot, because both of us said, not only this week, but in the last few weeks, that we want to like this show, that we're going to wait and see what they do. And they didn't do anything. That's the problem. They didn't do anything. It's called being disappointed, bro. It's called getting heat.
Now,
which there hasn't been a lot of heat for a lot of these matches, although some do have it.
Now, as far as Friday SmackDown, the reason that I wanted to do this show now, because there's really not much that's gonna happen. Like,
well, Cena will be there, so maybe they'll do something.
Okay, they're gonna cut one last generic promo on each other, bro, that we've seen time and time again. But if you notice, there's a pattern. Like, they do have the SmackDown matches to promote, and they will. But I believe that we saw the last of. I believe that we saw the last of the triple threat build. That was it. That was the go home angle. What we saw on Monday.
Yeah.
For the triple threat. They're not going to be on SmackDown, because SmackDown is going to be focused on Cena and Cody. And then we're going to have a lot of their angles, right? Like Naomi and Jade Cargill. You know, all the SmackDown, Drew and Damian Priest.
Let me ask you a question, because I don't understand this. Okay, we talked about this before, but now that we're at the go home. The triple threat match. It's not for anything. It's not a number one contenders. The Paul Heyman story is the story. Why is this match going on last? Is it because Roman's in the match? Like, what is the reason as to why this is closing the show?
I think it's star power, bro. Who else will you put it? I mean, I agree with
No. I'm talking about the in-universe reason, the canon reason. You know what I mean?
Because Paul Heyman pulled some strings. They actually did tell us the reason. Paul Heyman pulled some strings to get CM Punk his main event at WrestleMania. He didn't pull enough strings to put it at night 2, unfortunately. But
I have no strings to hold me down.
That movie sucked in hindsight, bro. It gets worse than
Pinocchio? No, Pinocchio's a great movie.
The Avengers, The Age of Ultron.
Oh, that's right. They did use that. That's right. That was a great trailer. That was a great trailer, bro.
You ejaculated 1,000 times every time.
No, listen, that's still one of the best trailers they've ever done, bro.
Have you seen the last Thunderbolt trailer that dropped today?
Yes, I did, bro.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that con job, bro? Like, I'll put him over for this. The editors of Marvel, how they always use like an old song to bring up the feelings in the trailer. Like they did it with Ant-Man and Quantumania, with Yellow Brick Road. They did it in the last Guardians movie. You know, with that 90s song, that 90s one.
They love to do that, bro. I like when they do that.
Yeah, and then they did it now with Queen, right? No, Under Pressure.
Yeah, it was Queen. Right.
And then they did it one more time, but it's like they did it with Guns N' Roses with Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yeah, and then they played it out in the movie.
Remember,
they also did it with Browser Brody's music, bro.
That's right, Thor Ragnarok. But that was awesome, though, bro. Bro, you know that I had Mandela affected myself, and I watched Infinity War, no kidding, at least 10 times from beginning to end. And I always thought that when Thor, one of the highlights of the film, right, when Thor comes down and to Wakanda, I thought they were playing that one, bro, the Led Zeppelin song, but it wasn't. It was his theme song, whatever it is. Or was it? No, it wasn't.
I don't remember.
Somebody will correct us. But anyway, that's a dope ass scene, bro. That's a mark out moment scene.
Yeah, I don't know. That's another situation where I don't know if they're gonna touch on what they already did.
Bro, Endgame and Infinity War have so many moments like just to mark out, like just fucking, oh my god, what am I seeing? Especially the one only few people mark out for is when Thanos. How is it that this man is so charismatic?
Yeah, I know.
Bro?
I know the line you're thinking of, and that is destiny fulfilled.
No. My favorite part about Thanos, 2014 Thanos, by the way, the younger one, when he no sells and marks out.
That's the line when he sees his head. When he sees his own head chopped off. He's like, This is destiny. And then when he sees the head chopped off, he goes, and that is destiny fulfilled.
That one, and when he's trying to squash Captain America and he respects him by marking out for a millisecond because he wasn't expecting that. I love that movie, bro.
Captain America is a great baby face. So Ronwell Nagales says, to be honest, heel Cena needs to win against Cody for undisputed WWE Championship, because if Cody wins, then Cena's heel since 2003 would be pointless. We talked about that in the last couple of weeks, and we pretty much decided that yes.
We agree with Ronwell. Let me ask something about Ronwell, bro, because this is confusing me. So your last name is Nogales. That's a very Latino last name. How does one end up with a first name of Ronwell?
Maybe his dad's from Arkansas and his mom's from Puerto Rico, and that was their compromise.
From Michoacan, I think, bro. Ronwell Nogales. I hope you didn't get teased in school for that, but God bless you.
Well, maybe anyways, it's not his real name.
Maybe his real name is Ron Nogales, bro.
Maybe it's Tyrese Gibson, bro. we should be asking Tyrese Gibson about Mark Sinclair, because he's got the scoop.
Oh, he definitely has the scoop. He's in space.
That's right. So, yeah, well, he was.
In more ways than one, if you've seen his Instagram.
You've got your head up in the clouds.
We got our feet on the ground.
Yeah. Because the Texas tornado really doesn't do all that much damage.
But they're scared shitless.
Coming a mile away. So,
anyways, round one, Nogales, we agree with you 100%.
Yeah, we agree. Yeah, Cena has to win. All right. And then OK Nice says, this is a fun question. What's up, D and Draven? What's you guys' Mount Rushmore of beta wrestlers and Mount Rushmore of alpha wrestlers?
Okay, I go first with beta.
Tough. That is tough.
Well, John Morrison is there. He might be in the center, honestly.
He might be two. He might be two of the heads.
So I got one that's gonna cause controversy, but it's my opinion because it's my Mount Rushmore. So I got John Morrison. I got John Moxley.
Man, I know one person that's not gonna like that.
Well, maybe they need to be on there too for beta for statements they've said in the past. And then so John Moxley. Okay, let me think about this. If you think of yours, you can say yours.
To make the game more fun, I'm gonna pick 4 other ones than what you picked, because I agree with the 2 that you picked already, but I'm gonna pick other 4. Like, I'm gonna pick 4 other ones. Lars Sullivan. Do we have to even go over why?
Yes. Okay.
Do we have to, bro?
We don't. Dewey Johnson have to.
No, I'm putting him there. Let's see. Samurai Del Sol. We went over that.
Oh, you beat me. Oh, I got my third one then.
We went over that last week.
Okay. So I have John Morrison. I have John Moxley. And I have Carlos Ashnoff, a.k.a. Carlos Espada.
That's controversial.
A.k.a. Conan, brother. No man is going to slap me and get away with it, okay? And I'm not going to be talking shit about a 7-footer known as Kevin Nash. And then when I see him, I'm just going to shake his hand like a pussy. So let's go ahead and throw him in that one as well. All right. Think of the 4th. Who do you get? You got 2 so far.
I got 2 left. Let me see. I could look at the WrestleMania card and pick a few out, bro. Solo Sikoa, because he got the biggest push of his career.
On, bro. Well, he didn't get over. He
got the biggest push of his career last year and did not get over and did not do anything with it, bro. He doesn't have it, bro.
So the atheist Muslim is out of your doghouse, right?
Well, he's been the only shining light on AEW except for Tony Storm. So he's kind of like, it's like that joke that Cornette says where Ole Anderson said, you used to be the dumbest person I knew, but there are so many other dumbasses that have come around. You've gone lower on the list without doing anything. So he used to be that, but there is so much garbage surrounding him that it elevated him to the top. So I would put him there. Now, who's going to have the balls to put Javon Evans on their list, bro?
Well, we don't know. It's not fair, bro. It's not. He doesn't deserve to be in either list right now.
That's true.
But the other one I would put.
Who have we buried?
Look, let me give my justification for John Moxley, why I lost respect for him. First of all, he didn't stand up to Brock Lesnar when it was
obvious.
Time. when he left WWE, all of a sudden it was their fault that he didn't get over. But he never said shit. And then the biggest one, brother. This man made an alpha like Stone Cold Steve Anderson quit his show, bro, because Stone Cold Steve Anderson was so disappointed with that interview that he took about a year off before he came back and did more interviews. So, I'm just chill, man. I'm just chill. What do you mean you're just chill? You don't study the business? No, I just chill, man. I go to the hotel and I just kick it. And
I got my fourth one.
And Steve Austin was like, "What the fuck?"
Fourth,
man, I'm like that.
My fourth pick, and this one's really gonna get people riled.
Virgil Runnels.
No. Matt and Nick Jackson. That's right. We're gonna put them both in one,
bro. Yeah, you need to explain that.
I was gonna put Hangman Adam Page there, but I didn't. I'll tell you why the Young Bucks are gonna be on my Mount.
Bro, Alex Quintero said, "What about Brad Maddox doing the Terminator pose?"
No, that's alpha. That's alpha.
That's
alpha. Now sharing a woman is beta.
Okay, see, I was gonna say,
which is a very right leaning thing to say.
That doesn't surprise me that you would think that.
Well, but guess what? Most men would agree with me, and they're not right leaning. I'm not into.
Okay, but what about this?
I'm not into sharing lovers, bro.
Okay, but what about if Brad Maddox? He thought so little of Paige that he's like he saw her as an object. He doesn't love her. He's like, fuck it, I'll share her and I'll get my cool picture.
That's okay. No, it doesn't matter. I still don't.
The only thing that's disturbing is that his lens was focused on Xavier Woods' balls.
I remember I was told a long time ago, if you have a threesome with another guy and you make eye contact with him and your dick stays hard, you're probably gay. I don't even want to run that risk, bro. So
damn, bro.
That's what I was told. And actually, a Spanish man told me that.
Of course, Spanish. Yeah, but you have hamburguesas sin pan, bro. That's the same shit.
No, don't you dare, bro. Listen,
bro, it's the same thing, bro.
No, yeah, okay.
And you know
having a threesome, being a homosexual is the same thing as having eating meat without bread. And there's a lot of homos in the world, bro. I mean, there are a lot,
brother. Let me tell you this. There was a lot of people in that restaurant that would agree with me, including all the women.
They were just confused, but they're all going to die of heart disease, and I'm going to try and make it out without it.
Including all the women, brother.
Well, they're all going to die. We know they're all going to die soon.
Of all ages and shapes and sizes.
No, they were all old there, bro. There were no young women there, bro. No, well, who we didn't have is the fucking weirdo in the front. Ay, papi, un cafecito. Remember that guy?
Are you the type of guy that has cafecito sin azúcar, bro?
No, of course not.
So you put sugar on your coffee?
No, I don't put sugar. I put a sweetener, natural sweetener. Sugar's bad for you, bro.
I'm gonna throw your ass on the Mount Rushmore with John Moxley and Morrison. And,
if you want to do that, I mean, I am in the business. So here's why I'm picking Matt and Nick Jackson, because they could have done business with Phil Brooks. They could have actually helped AEW maintain their momentum, but instead they wanted to play little pussy games. Well, let's see if he behaves okay. Put him on a different show than us. Besides the fact they're both very feminine in the way they look and they behave.
Hey, I came up with those guys. They came up in my territory, bro.
Well, that says a lot about you, bro. You're worse than Sing Pong at this rate. So they could have actually drawn money.
Well, they did draw money.
No, they didn't. They could have actually drawn serious money with CM Punk instead, because they knew they were getting paid guaranteed money and were EVPs and had no reason to do anything, because heaven forbid the company make any money. If they don't care and the owner doesn't care about making money, then that's fine. They decided to give Phil Brooks a hard time. So that's who I blame for all of this. I blame them. They're the ones that broke into his dressing room. They're the ones who fucking stooged off to Meltzer. They're the ones who have actually, I think, been a detriment to AEW. I think at first, 2019, 2020, when they were red hot, different story. I think time has shown us that they are a detriment to the company. So that's who's on my number 4. What's your number 4?
Sammy Guevara, bro. I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh, okay, I agree.
First of all, wasn't he one of the pillars? What happened to those pillars, bro? We need to review these pillars because they could all.
Maybe they could all be on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, fucking Darby Allin's probably gonna die trying to climb Mount
Different
Everest.
mountain. Yeah, it's a different mountain.
Brick Breaker is
she's gone. She's gone.
It started fucking beep 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 beep, and then she's probably gonna be gone.
Who?
I said it right now. Oh, did I get bleeped? I'm sorry. And then
okay.
and then MJF, he's a mid carder at best nowadays. Let's be real about it. And then who was the other? Oh, Sammy Guevara. He marries a cluster B, first of all, which is dangerous to him, and God bless him for that. He leaves he hurts. I think this man, he went on a streak of hurting a person per week, bro. Remember, he was giving all those people concussions for a while there.
Jeff Hardy was one of them.
TK took him off TV for the safety of the boys, and now he's in Ring of Honor.
He demoted him to Ring of Honor, where he's tag champion with Dustin Rhodes, bro.
Yeah, a guy that at times belongs in the Mount Rushmore of betas,
but sometimes could be in the Mount Rushmore of Alpha, especially Forever Unchained.
Now, one of the things that I cannot forgive, brother, even though the respect level goes up and down with this following guy too, I cannot forgive that this guy had a cardboard cutout, a life-size cardboard cutout.
I was wondering.
In his living room for years after they had broken up. And what I'm gonna do, brother, I'm gonna make the workers go to that Indian land that they're gonna steal to build this massive monument. I'm gonna have them carve out a small face. So the other four are gonna be big faces, and Matt Hardy's gonna have the little face, brother. And he's gonna be my fifth Mount Rushmore entrant. So there you go.
Well, that's okay because I technically got 5, but I don't count the Young Bucks as being fully grown men anyway. So
now as far as this is gonna get serious here. As far as alpha wrestlers,
wrestlers is
gonna be biased on my end because they're my favorite about it. So it's my opinion only. So we have Shawn Michael Hickenbottom, we have Bret Clark, we have Dick Flair, and we have Chris Jericho. Those are my 4, bro.
But Dick Flair has not been very alpha in the last few years, bro.
But I think his body of work when he was in his prime is so influential and so big and vast that it oversees his beta-ness over the last 10 years. It's like what they say about Bobby De Niro, right? With Bobby De Niro prostituting his career, making these movies that don't make no money. It doesn't matter, brother. His legacy has been established. So same thing with Ric Flair. Same thing with Bret Clark. Bret Clark is out of his damn mind, and he's been out of his mind for a while. I mean, look at that WrestleMania 9 documentary. I want everybody to take a shot whenever Bret Clark says an interview and he focuses the entire promotion around him, how he's the savior of that promotion.
Or Goldberg.
Bro, like it tripped me out because in that WrestleMania 9 documentary, he said when they made him do the job to Yoko Tuna, he said Vince McMahon, I've never felt so betrayed. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, there's something called...
Well, Vince promised him is what it was. And you know, whenever somebody says, Vince promised me, ... he doesn't keep his promises, bro, unlike Paul Heyman.
Yeah, but Brett, everybody promises something and they let him down, bro. It's like, what the fuck? Like, get over it, you know? He promised me, and then he took me out to the barn and shot me.
When Hulk Hogan left, Bret Hart pulled the sword from the stone. That's still my favorite quote of his for the past 2 years.
And then he looked like Aunt May from the Sam Raimi movies, brother.
That's right, from Spider-Man.
Not even Marissa Tomei. He should look like Marissa Tomei. I'll go put him over for that.
Well, he's had a hard life, bro.
Yeah, but so has Marissa Tomei.
But he's been with a lot of women, so that's why he's on the alpha category.
And a lot of African American women. Remember, he's got the thing for them.
No. It's Italian women he's got a thing for. Kurt Angle has a thing for African American women.
Bestiality. That's what they called him.
I know.
Remember they had to correct Vinny because he said bestiality. They had to correct him.
Goldie or Greeny, one of those two guys said, "No, you mean bestial?" And he said, "Damn it, I know what I'm saying. It's bestiality." So I
was surprised I didn't see him at the MLW show, bro. Those are Court Bauer's boys.
Yeah. Well, were there a couple Samoans there? Have they
There's a
all
lot
been?
of Samoans.
Have they all been signed by WWE?
And not debut them for years.
Right. Yeah, we're
Well, what's
still
your
waiting.
mindset? So that's my Mount Rushmore. I'm already buzzing, bro. Honestly, that's
Okay.
my Mount Rushmore.
All right. Let me give
Bret
you my.
Hart, Ric Flair, Chris Jericho, and Shawn Michaels.
All right, my Mount Rushmore: Dr. David Schultz, Vampiro, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash.
No, you're fucking around, bro. You're
That's
fucking
it.
around.
Why? I'm not fucking
Vampiro's
around.
a little beta, bro, because he sees shit that's not real.
No, it is real. Just because you don't believe in it doesn't mean it's real.
Magic with a K, bro. That's the real dark
magic.
Did
you hear that interview?
I'm gonna get serious right now because I don't like to throw those words out in like that, just like that.
Did you hear that interview I sent you, bro? You didn't get a chance to?
But I've heard Vampiro for years, bro.
I'm not talking about Vampiro. I'm talking about Schnoblin.
No, I didn't.
That's the one I wanted you to hear, bro. We went out to this place with these weird stones, and that's where the Luciferians. That's where they worship Satan. So he pulls out a black book and cut my finger open, and I bled on it. You got to see it, bro.
Brother, I'm gonna stop this because I'm much like the WrestleMania build. I think I'm peaking too early, so I'm gonna chill with this shit for a while.
You should chill, bro. So that's my alpha list here. Okay,
Bobby Lindsay's not in it, bro. You always get it wrecked around Bobby Lindsay.
He wears a sweater. Amari Goodwin says Triple H books way too safe for me. Take chances. Do you think Triple H books too safe?
No, he turned John Cena heel. That wasn't safe. The safe thing would have been for him to stay a babyface. So yeah. I disagree with Amari Goodwin's.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would need more examples on what you mean by safe. All right. Because we got to get back to this WrestleMania build. We're getting a lot of super chats.
Oh, wrong one. No, Nogales. Okay, that makes sense. Okay,
he's from the Philippines, bro.
They have that gimmick where they have those Latino, Hispanic last names, and they got the wacky first name. So yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not too happy with you people this week.
Why?
2 words: tech support. Long story. I'm not gonna get into it, bro.
But they got pretty women over there. They got pretty women.
Well, that they do. All right. So Xavier says, push, bury, and fire. Triple H, RKO, and Batista. I've never heard this before. So it's basically like fuck, marry, kill. Pick one to push, one to bury, and one to fire. Okay. I'll go first.
Number one, as long as it's not Batista el Gay, bro.
Okay, Batista's getting fired because he's Batista el Gay. And he lost all the muscle mass.
Yeah, he looks like he's gonna leave us pretty soon, bro. And by leave us, I mean this earth.
Yes, Triple H, I'm gonna fire because he is already retired. He had a heart problem, so I can't use him.
He had a heart attack, not a heart problem.
Well, he also had a pacemaker put in,
like Kevin Smith,
a Malcapase put in, and then Dave, and
but
then Ark.
But he didn't have the frente de Viste, bro.
What?
He didn't have the frente de Viste, though.
No, that he did not.
Although in 2004, when he was trying to beat Ric Flair, he did gig a lot during that era when he was trying to get everybody.
And then 2005 was Harley. 2005, 2006 was Harley. No, 05 was still Flair.
So you would push Randall K.
Yes, I would.
But why?
What's because he's awesome, bro. But I would have him with that wacky mustache doing the Boss Rutan thing at least once a year.
Bro, remember when Kevin Owens broke his neck? He was like humming on the way to the ambulance. But why? Like, you don't make that noise when you have he was going, bee, bee.
That's right. And he was making a weird noise.
But I feel like he does this shit literally to entertain himself.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
And then he was doing
He's got a job for life.
Like, if people go back to watch the video, he wasn't doing this, okay, which you would do. He was doing with one finger. He was putting pressure on his neck. And he was going, wee. We love
By
that,
the
man,
way,
bro.
I don't, as of right now, they have not announced this, but it sounds like they were teasing him and Solo being added to WrestleMania.
Popcorn match.
Of course. I mean, the Kevin Owens match is gone, but they haven't added it yet. Maybe they will in the go home.
But you know what? But I got the
SmackDown.
feeling. I got the feeling that they wanted you to think that. I think there is going to be a surprise for Randall K. I got the feeling that they wanted you to think that it was going to be Solo because they never announced it. They never made it official, and they would have made it official by now. So
Yeah, and we're not gonna get that damn Nick Aldis match that I wanted, bro. I told you I want Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce to have a match for the NWA World Title on WrestleMania, bro.
that would have been awesome. I would have scrap daddy Adam Pierce. Now
Yes, that's right.
let's turn back to this. So
And we get to see an appearance from our boy, fucking, now I'm forgetting his name, bro. The fucking Smashing Pumpkins guy, bro.
William Corgan.
William Corgan, that's right. Mr. William Corgan, that's right.
Yes. Who said he respected Mr. McMahon, and we know he lost the war as soon as he said that. So okay, so you don't want to sacrifice any of the guys that are coming into the territory, right? You already say you don't want to do that.
I don't think it's a good idea. Yeah, Matt Riddle's a good choice though.
Yeah, but they're not gonna do business with that guy. I don't think he's changed. What about like would you be obviously you would be disappointed if it's someone like Omos or something like that, right?
If it's like an RKO and it's over, you know what I mean?
I mean,
plus, what's Omos gonna do without the atheist Muslim?
Yeah, he hasn't been around forever, but he's still under contract.
I mean, they could always bring up someone from NXT like Ethan Page and then just sacrifice him, but I feel like that gives off the wrong idea about.
What about Goldturd? But then you can't beat Goldturd.
No, Goldturd's gonna has that Gunther match still, which I hope never happens, but whatever.
Yeah, there's no one, bro. There's no one, but it might be Solo.
It has to be like an NXT guy. Solo, I think, is a good choice only because he's not going anywhere, bro. Like,
well, what about if it is Nick Aldis though? It could be.
I'd be okay with it, you know, except I wouldn't want him to lose his first WWE match, but
they're not gonna push Nick Aldis ever, bro. He's older.
But seeing him show up, I think would be cool. I don't think he's that much older, bro. He's not that much older than Randy. He can't be.
Yeah, but Randy's not a young guy. Randy's 44.
That's what I'm saying, and they still push him. Randy's headlining,
bro.
Randy's headlining Backlash, bro, against John Cena.
Austin Kinkle says it needs to be a small guy so he can hook the foot. Well, that's what we wanted Janelle Evans, but he already wrestled Janelle Evans, and he did hook the foot.
You mean Javon Evans?
Whatever.
Janelle, bro. There's the only person in WWE named Janelle. You don't want to say that name when you're around, bro. All right. Wait, actually, what's your push? What was it? What was the thing? Push.
Push it and pull it.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. So, all right. Push, bury, and fire. Triple H, RKO, Batista.
Okay, I would fire Batista because he's Batista el Gay. And he has a little sun gimmick in his belly button.
Me gusta que me ven.
And he does that very homoerotic turn thing that bothers me if I'm watching it with my dad.
The spin.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now he looks like he needs a donation from me, and he needs to go get a shirt that comes with a bowl of soup. That's what he looks like now.
Cup of soup.
And then I would fire Randall K because it looks like he ate the Randall K from 2003. And I don't want him to get hurt. See, that's a good investment on my end. Very right-wing corporate mentality. I have to fire Randall K because he's eventually going to get hurt with the mask that he's carrying around, and he's going to cost me money. So I'm going to fire him, and I would push Paul,
who has no heart. I mean, he has a heart, but it's damaged.
But I would call him Hunter Helmsley.
You know what the H stands for, though, the other H. We can't say that.
I would just call him. Look, I would sit Paul Levesque down and say, from now on, we're going to take Hurst because that's not your real name. Because Bret Hart told me what the H really stands for. So your name's going to be Hunter Helmsley. So I would push him for 3 years as Hunter Helmsley.
Hunter Helmsley.
Yes. And then
he'll be wrestling at the WrestleMania.
And I would put him with Braun Breaker at the Royal Rumble, bro. So he'll get 13 minutes and get blown up.
At the SummerSlam. Okay, so Bone Crusher says, thoughts on Brett versus Austin going in the Hall of Fame? They're already in the Hall of Fame, bro, but the match going in, I'm cool with them putting matches in there. I think
it's the UFC. They stole it from UFC.
Yeah, I think inevitably, like, we're gonna end up seeing, like, you know, Undertaker Shawn go in. We're gonna end up seeing Steamboat Savage go in future years. stuff like that. What we're not going to see go in is we're not going to see the Benoit, Triple H, Shawn Michaels three-way from WrestleMania 20 go in, and it deserves it because that's one of the best three-ways ever.
Yes, and we're not going to see anything with Benoit. No matches whatsoever.
Right, but I mean, that one specifically is probably his best WrestleMania match. So what can you do? Amari says, here's a fun question. What MCU characters would you have the WWE AEW wrestlers cast as? Well, it ain't gonna be Seth Rollins, bro, because they cut all his scenes out. So
all right, so I think it'll be easier if we start with the character and we try to match him up with a wrestler. So I'm gonna start with Thanos. I would cast Bobby Lindsay as Thanos. I think he would be a good Thanos, bro.
I don't think he has the charisma for it, but okay.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna be Josh Brolin, bro. Come on, with that wacky voice.
I guess that's true. John, you know what? I would cast Cody Rhodes as Captain America.
Well,
or maybe
he's already Homelander, bro. Might as well.
Or maybe a Grande Americano. Maybe him. Maybe he can be
bro.
Captain America.
Rey
Mysterio can be Ant-Man.
You're a dick, bro. You took it right out. You fucking stole it. John Moxley could be Black Widow, so we could go ahead and put him in there. He's a bitch.
You're kind of putting him over, bro, because she's a badass.
She would definitely go up to Brock, bro, and tell him that we're gonna do business, bro.
And she sacrificed herself for the good of the future.
Who? I got one for you that's gonna pop you, bro, and I want you to think about this one. Who would you cast as the Kingpin, bro? But just don't have him talk like that.
Oh, Vanessa, when I was a boy, my father. I like his voice, bro. My father mistreated me, Vanessa. And that those damn vigilantes. The Kingpin. I got a pick, but you're not gonna get it, bro.
You know what? We don't have no. Fuck. He said
no. I've got one, bro. Big John Studd can be fucking.
I thought you said Big John Gaburik, bro.
Or big him too. Big Ron Studd, bro.
Yeah, but
the Yeti. He's not in the business anymore, though.
Bro,
does that count?
You would put Big John Gaburik?
No, I didn't say Big John Gaburik. I said Big John Studd. You put Big John Gaburik. Big John Gaburik looks like Joss Whedon anyways, bro.
No, he looks like Leon White, bro.
Him too.
I would. Okay, so this is all time, right?
Vader could be Kingpin.
I would put Vic Grimes as Kingpin, bro. Kilo, I would put him as Kingpin because he was fat, just like the Kingpin.
Okay.
Who would you put as the Iron Man, bro? Let me think about this.
That's hard, man. That's a hard one.
I would go with Punk. I think CM Punk would be a good Iron Man. He's got that confidence, you know. He's got.
He's also skinny fat.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, bro. I know he looked like a Waffle House cook, but let's give him a break.
Short order cook at the Waffle House. That's right.
Big Daddy V, bro, as the Kingpin.
There you go.
King 95, bro.
He's already got the king in there. Yeah.
They already broke the rules in that 2003 Daredevil by casting what's his name?
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yes, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Great actor.
They already pissed off all the right wing conservatives with that casting. So might as well
take my hand, boss. Let me think for a minute because I'm trying to see who would be a good Kang the Conqueror, bro.
It's hard because the MCU Kang the Conqueror was awesome. So
well, Kang the Conqueror could be Steve Austin because he has something in common with Jonathan Majors.
You set me up for that one, bro. You set me up for that one.
Oh well, I don't know, man. But we can't stick on this question forever. We picked some of the big ones.
You know what? As the show's going on and more come to our head, we'll bring them up.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, that'll keep going. Okay. Let me move on to the
What
next
about
one
the
here.
Thing, bro? And it can't be Joe Cabot either.
No. The Thing and Flame On and that invisible bitch. Thing. He looks like the Thing.
Charlotte Flair could be the invisible bitch, bro, because she's losing so much weight. She's eventually going to be invisible here in a couple weeks.
She actually could be. That's not even a bad choice. You know what? Solo Sikoa could be the thing. They have a similar body type.
But not face, thank God.
But not charisma. No, not charisma. That's for sure. All right. Casper Benoit says.
So somebody did the Casper. I brought the Casper Benoit up a couple weeks ago, bro. Somebody did the Casper Benoit. That's from the board.
Good evening, Draven and Big D, watching from heaven.
Casper Benoit, bro. I cannot fucking believe this shit.
Wanted to know why I didn't make your Mount Rushmore.
Because you don't exist, brother. You're a murderer. And you
gimmick
yourself to this.
Jimmy Snuka wasn't in the Mount Rushmore either.
Now your theme song from WCW is in my Mount Rushmore.
The clap, bro.
Remember how that song had this weird thing where it would completely shut down for like 2 seconds and then start over again? That always tripped me out. Yeah.
Yeah, we get quiet, then go up again. Yeah. Well, that was like an ESPN song too. It was used.
Well, they all were back then.
Yeah. All right. Amari says, "What y'all's favorite and least favorite year in pro wrestling history?" Again, this is not meant to be a Q&A. It's meant for us to like preview WrestleMania. I'm kind of worried that we're getting a lot of questions, which I'm not complaining about. It's just that I don't want to get the show too off.
Okay, this is what we could do. Like, let them build up. We'll cover WrestleMania, and then we'll get them in the back end. We'll do that.
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of them, though. Like, there's many of them.
Dude, we've been here for like 3 hours before, bro. I'm good.
All right. I mean, all right. We'll do this last one. Then we're still gonna answer, but it'll be later in the show.
Yeah. Well, we'll pick it up from I think Set of Forces and whatever, something like that. But anyway,
no, Xavier is next. But Amari says, "What's your favorite and least favorite year?" My favorite year is '97 because every company was red hot and awesome, including Japan and Mexico. And any of the American television, WCW, ECW, WWF was good for that whole year. So that's
Peter says that Jade Cargill should be Storm. I mean, he's not going out on a limb there. Come on, bro.
Jade Cargill could also be, bro. Jade Cargill could be Sentry.
Nightcrawler, bro. Don't be an asshole.
No, that's not what I was going to say. Sentry, but all right, you're an asshole, bro. You're an asshole.
Anyway,
at least you didn't say that Wakanda chick, bro, that Lupita plays.
Oh, she has a nice ass, bro. I like her. So, my best year would be 2000. I loved the year 2000, even though Danny says it was a bunch of handicap matches. I don't care. That was Senator Kresge at his best.
WCW was great in 2000, wasn't it?
But by that point, I was already tuned out, brother. My favorite year of WWE was 2000. And that encompasses all of wrestling at that point. And then my least favorite year would probably have to be 2012 or 2011. Right before the Shield came out. Right, those years were horrible, bro.
Yeah, actually, my least favorite, because I didn't get to say, is probably 2009. I hated 2009. 2009 was just like, the booking was bad. It was the same guys on top. Nobody got over.
That's where we had Randall K versus John Cena about 1,000 times.
There was, and here's the other one. Don't forget this because I remember this. Batista beat Randall K clean at least twice that year, and somehow Randall K was still in the title picture and still the top heel. Like, Randall K was booked so horribly because he lost to literally everyone and was still the top heel. It didn't make sense to me. And that was also the year of the guest general managers, and the majority of them were trash.
Things are looking up.
That was 2007.
No, but what was the blow off to the general manager? Wasn't it Hornswoggle again?
I think it was Hornswoggle again, yes.
All right, so now let's continue the WrestleMania, and then we'll come back to these.
All right. You want to go through the matches and discuss the build-up then?
Yes.
All right, we'll do it like this. So we already talked about Gunther versus Jey Uso. I think that's going to open WrestleMania, and I think Jey Uso has to win because there's just no – if Gunther wins, Jey Uso's pretty much ruined. Now, I've seen some people say that
He's already ruined.
that Jey Uso could win by disqualification.
No.
I just don't see that. That might have worked 20 years ago, but I don't see that.
With the Road Dogg in charge now, that could happen. Because the fuck finishes have becoming more and more with him involved.
Well, he's not quite the Bullet, but the real alpha of the family. But I mean, I just don't see them doing a DQ finish at WrestleMania. I could see them teasing one, but I don't think they'll go through with it.
No. They're not at WrestleMania, bro. Road Dogg or no Road Dogg.
You think Jay's gonna win?
I think we could have a finish that was changed. I think Gunther should win.
You think Gunther should win? What do you do with Jay after that?
I don't care. He's why? I mean, he's not over anymore. He's not over to me anymore. To a lot of people,
he still gets a lot of pops in the arena, though.
Yeah, but what does that matter, bro? I would have Gunther win. I think there's more value in Gunther winning than Jey Uso. What do you do with Jey Uso when he does win, bro?
Well, I think Gunther gets the title back by the summer.
Daniel Cormier belt, bro. It doesn't matter.
Well, I think Gunther will get the title back by the summer. Okay, so what about Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano? I'm glad we're getting a Kurt Angle Rey Mysterio match at WrestleMania, bro.
You're a dick, bro. I would obviously the story writes itself. You need to do a Grande Americano wins here with the gimmick in his head, which is very old school. And then that's gonna lead us to a mass versus mass match down the road. So that's what I would go with here.
I was hoping this would be the mass versus mass match, but
that's too early. It's too early for that.
Yeah, it is too early.
He's only been around for a couple of weeks, but I would definitely have. He needs to get more heat, so I would have him win here, with putting the gimmick in his mask, and then that leads to a mass versus mass match.
Now, you speculated that this match was added because of the Randall K. Kevin Owens match being taken off. I'm not so sure about that. I agree with you at first, but I'm not sure about that now. The match is going to probably be awesome, bro, because Shorty G is a very, very good worker.
Oh, of course, and especially if he's going to win, he's going to be even more motivated. And I don't know if he's into the gimmick so much that he got even lighter for this gimmick. But he
looks a little bit lighter.
Yeah, so no, it's going to be a really, really good match. Now, as far as Randall K, they haven't even told us that he's going to actually wrestle at WrestleMania. He just pulled them, and that's it. We have no update. So
right.
It could still be a 7-match one night and 6-match another night.
Yes, and maybe the solo match will get added on Friday.
And if it does, well, then they decided to put not replace it, but just add more matches. What was the next one you got?
So we got Jade Cargill versus Naomi. I think in the past you said it's going to be a squash. I feel like Naomi's been kind of getting the short end of the stick on TV every week until recently. I just don't see how Jade Cargill can lose this. At the same time, I'm not sure if Jade Cargill's ready. What do you think?
I think I'm going to go ahead and be real with you, bro. I think it's not about being ready or not being ready. I think Jade Cargill has been a huge disappointment. I think that's one of Triple H's misfires. She just hasn't delivered what was promised, and she's been with the company for 2 years now. But still, I think they still see money in her. I think they want to prep her for a feud with Bianca, and I think Bianca's going to win the title the following night, and that's going to be the feud. So she needs the big win here. Naomi is just a stepping stone, she's not really ever pushed, and so it's perfect for her to lose here and have Jade Cargill get that win so she could have credibility for that spring program or summer program with Bianca. But yeah, so that's probably gonna be about like a 5-minute match,
Yeah, I don't care that much for it. Now, here's one that barely has any build-up, but they threw it on there anyways. Okay, so the War Raiders and the New Day for the World Tag Team titles. The New Day seemed to be really hot when they first turned heel, and like everything else, it seems to have petered out. Like, they haven't really done anything all that heelish since then. We haven't really seen any big beatdowns. To be honest, the SmackDown tag team scene seems
the ones that got the shaft for this year's WrestleMania, and there was a lot of heat on the company for that.
Yeah, because they seem to be a lot more focused. There's better teams, there's better workers. Instead, we're going to get this instead of the SmackDown tag titles. And I've said a gazillion times, this should be one set of tag belts for both companies. There's too many belts in wrestling,
Yeah, but
And
from a work rate perspective, bro, wouldn't you have liked to see the DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns on this show instead of this match?
of course I would have. That's my point. That's
And
my
instead,
point.
we're gonna see it on that Friday night SmackDown. You know?
Yeah, right. Which is they're gonna call it like WrestleMania SmackDown, but nobody really thinks it's
The
WrestleMania.
road
It's
to
like
WrestleMania, like back in the 90s, bro.
the march to WrestleMania, you mean? That's what
Yeah,
you're
the
thinking of.
March.
This is the road to WrestleMania. Remember that only worked when WrestleMania was in March. That was
Bro, night one has a lot of jobber matches. I don't
the
really like that
pun.
shit.
Well, okay, so how do you feel about this one?
I mean, if they were allowed to have their working boots on, this would be a very good match. But I feel like this is gonna be like a middle of the card, like bathroom break match, 6-7 minutes, and go home for the War Raiders. That's what I think. Because it has no build up. It's a cold match. And it's fucked up because they had weeks to do something with these teams and they just didn't do anything because the War Raiders were feuding with American Top Team or whatever the fuck the name of the Creed brothers
The
is.
Creed brothers, yeah.
And then
I wish it was American Top Team because that's Dan Lambert, bro.
With all the gimmick belts, bro.
If he shows up on Dynamite, I'm watching every week.
Dynamite.
So I think the New Day is going to win. I think they're going to try and capitalize off of that turn, but I think it's a bit late on that. I think they're going to try to eventually maybe build to Big E coming back and beating them down the road. I thought that by Mania they would do that, but I guess Big E, we don't know what the status is on his health because he's obviously not cleared. So he would have been for Mania. So maybe that'll never happen.
No, and I also believe that the original premise and the reason why that they shot that big angle way back in November was because they thought they had Big E for this show, but obviously what happened is that he doesn't want to wrestle because he's scared or he didn't get cleared, and then the New Day push kind of died out, and then they brought it back up for the last couple of weeks for this match. So yeah, very weird match, but it's not something we've seen WrestleManias in the past that have like cold matches, so it's not a big deal to me. Just another match.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I don't think I don't think it'll be boring. I think they'll work.
No, because they're good enough workers to make something out of it. All four of them are pretty good workers to get something out of it. So we'll see.
Yeah, they're good talent. And I don't mean the kind of talent that Brad Maddox and Paige. Only one of them in this match is that talented.
What about bro? As heels, what about if at WrestleMania they come out like in a big purple gimmick, bro? But it's like a unicorn gimmick.
I would love that, bro. Only that means that they're listening, bro. That's what that means. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the U.S. title. I said this last week. There's only two ways to close this. Jacob Fatu wins or Jacob Fatu gets fucked over by Solo. And has Jacob Fatu been pinned since coming in?
He's got like the third longest winning streak of all time in WWE, behind like fucking
Tatanka.
Behind his uncle Umanga, and I think Tatanka. And there's another one in there, Asuka. I think.
What about Ryback? He had a big one.
He did. How do you know? I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. All right. So, what do you think?
Was Brad Maddox in your room as well, bro? When you got that experience?
No, senor. I told you, bro. My right wing side will never allow that.
Let's hope that he wasn't choking you, bro. You're gonna get all the marks. I'm worried about you, bro.
On the board. So, let me ask you,
Benoit from the board here.
Let me ask you a question about LA Knight. So here's a guy who still gets big pops. He's still over, but he's kind of meandering in the mid card, upper mid card.
Eli Drake, bro. We saw him as Eli Drake. That's when he got over with us.
That's right. Now here's the question: Is there a danger of them maybe missing the boat on this guy being a main eventer? Do you think that we're getting close to that now? Because I see him, he's going to lose to Jacob Fatu here. I'm confident in that because Jacob Fatu has a lot of momentum and he's got the whole package. But LA Knight is also very over. So what do you think about LA Knight and his future, at least short term?
I think he already got his run, bro. I think he's been on the way down. I think when he feuded with Roman and he got a couple big main events out of that feud. Obviously, nobody was going to be Roman at that time. But I think what you're talking about, we've already seen it. And it's only normal, right? It's like when you go way to the top, once you hit your peak, you're going to come down. And he's been able to sustain a level of upper mid card for up until now. But I think what you're talking about already happened. We've already seen it, and you know he's where he needs to be and he should be.
So you don't think that he should get a title run at some point?
No, bro. Why? I mean, no. There's too many guys that are above him for that to happen. Unless you want to go with the new beta wrestling way where everybody gets a turn.
No. I'm just curious about his overness and how long he can maintain that without going up again.
Well, maybe he's like Jake Roberts, bro, where he never needs a belt, you know, or the world title because he does have the U.S. title or whatever. So I don't know. I think you're putting the wrong attention to the wrong thing. He's over, but does he need a belt? No. I mean, why? I mean,
Probably not. But I mean, does he need to be world champion?
No, bro. I mean, there's too many guys. You know, there's too many guys in front of him. But I think this is going to be a good match because both of these guys are from the LA scene and they know each other very, very well. And they've had some great matches on the indie scenes. So I think Jacob Fatu and LA Knight, because a lot of people don't know that. I think they're very tight and they know each other. They're going to have a sleeper match. I think that's what I think. Because they've had a lot of great matches on the indies. And if they let them do like 1/3 of what they do in the indies, then it's going to be a great match.
Yeah, no, they definitely have the chemistry.
And Jacob needs to win this match as well, like you said. You know, unless Solo fucks him, like you said. But I don't know. I'm trying to really I'm trying to stay away from fuck finishes at WrestleMania, bro. I feel like they need to be all good, clean finishes because this is a blow-off show.
Well, you can't have every match be clean finishes, but I agree.
But that statement itself is very sad. What you just said because we should, but
that's just not how it works now.
There's a culture that wouldn't allow that to happen, but technically we should. We should have all clean finishes.
Now, I still feel like Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu and like a Seth Rollins Punk one-on-one big blow-off would have probably been better, I think. I'm not saying Roman Reigns and Jacob would close night one. I just feel like I still think that would have been a better idea. And because I think Jacob Fatu can have a match with Roman Reigns and actually lose clean, but he do the All Japan gimmick where he does the fighting spirit where he looks good and he gives Roman a hell of a fight, but ultimately he goes down. I think that Roman's one of the few guys who can clean pin Jacob Fatu. Not clean him, bro. He's not Mr. Fuji or Kenny Omega. But I think that anybody else pinning Jacob Fatu right now is a bad idea.
He can't be losing right now, especially because he's getting over. They need to feed him Solo as soon as possible and then move over to. I would like to see Roman versus Jacob at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I mean, then at least the bloodline story would continue because that's been derailed too. Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair. I don't think I care that much for the WWE Women's title. We talked about that earlier. Is there anything to add to it?
No, we talked about it. I think they're going to do that spot where it's a quasi shoot, which is going to look fucking stupid because everybody knows the truth. And that's it. I mean, but the question is who wins?
See, I was thinking when Charlotte won the Rumble that she was going to be a guaranteed winner. Now with the last few weeks of television, I think they might switch it over to Tiffany. I mean, Tiffany needs the win more than Charlotte.
Yeah, but she's also miscast as a babyface. So hopefully she'll go back to being a heel very soon because she shouldn't be a babyface.
Yeah, fair. Maybe she'll do a fuck finish in this match. I don't know. Roman Reigns.
Give us the main event, quote unquote, of WrestleMania. The
Night
fake
one.
main event.
Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. I think that this is going to be one of those matches going to be very, very well booked. It's going to be well put together because
it's gonna be one of those story matches, bro. Where, like I told you last week, there's a lot of talking in between the matches,
right?
You know,
yes, there's a lot of drama. I think
I'm sorry, I love
you. Yeah, there's a lot of drama.
Well, we're not gonna have the puppy dog eyes, unfortunately, because only Shawn Michaels could do that.
No, we'll have that on Stand and Deliver, bro. When it doesn't sell out. So Roman Reigns, CM Punk. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be one of those WWE main events where we're going to see not really a lot of interference, because the good thing is that none of these guys have dog and pony shows right now. Like, all three of these guys have had groups. Obviously, Seth and Roman came in together, but I mean, the Bloodline, Seth had his group for a while with Buddy Murphy. and the AOP. And
yeah, but we are gonna see Gaga with Paul Heyman though.
We are gonna see. That's what I was gonna get to. We're gonna see Gaga and drama with Paul Heyman. I have a weird feeling that I think people are going to assume that Paul's gonna fuck CM Punk and Roman and leave with Seth. And in some ways, that is the more intriguing finish. I just don't know if they're actually going to do that because it seems almost too predictable. What do you think?
I mean, whatever makes for the right booking. I don't care if it's predictable or not. I think.
Well, I don't know what is the right booking.
Well, it depends on their future plans. Right now, they don't have to worry about this because Randy Orton's going to get the next shot. But like we talked about last week, 2 out of the 3 in this match are going to continue feuding with each other. I don't know what 2 that is, but I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. So I would go with CM Punk winning. The thing is that
Heyman?
Yes, but also I think we could even have like a heel turn. You know,
Punk turns heel.
I feel like Punk could turn heel. You know, it just depends. But then again, the crowd is not really ready for that. But who knows, man?
Yeah. Again, this match, I have difficulty with it because it's not. It's the stakes aren't that high. It's just 3 guys who don't like each other. And
what about this idea that Roman Reigns has been getting de-pushed since he lost the title? Like he's becoming more and more. He's not that Roman Reigns anymore. He's becoming like, I wouldn't say irrelevant, but he definitely has not. He doesn't have that aura anymore. He's like a baby face. He, you know, and we'll see where they go with that. But I feel like he hasn't been pushed to the level that he should be pushed, and he should be in the title picture, and he's not going to be for a while. So it seems like he's going lower and lower on the card because even if he feuds with Jacob Fatu, it's still a demotion from where he was a year ago. So that's kind of weird, but that's where he's at right now.
They're kind of in a position now where you've got Cody and Roman as the top 2 baby faces, and they're kind of in this predicament where they're not sure how to push when or who to push or whatever. It feels like they're kind of maybe that, you know, and they also have Punk as well as top guy. So they have a lot of baby faces.
I think Punk's more over than Roman right now.
Well, I think you're right.
I think Punk is the number 2 baby face and Roman is number 3.
No, and I agree with you. I actually think you're right about that. I think that shift happened very recently. I think the issue with Roman is that the stuff that got him over, he doesn't really do anymore, which is him kind of being this boss that was like unbeatable, and like he doesn't really do that anymore. He's a different character now because he's a babyface. And what did Ricky Morton teach us? When you're a babyface, you have to sell. And I'm not saying he doesn't know how to sell, because he does. But when you're a babyface, you have a different type of aura. And they can't push him like a Hulk Hogan babyface, because then he'll just be beating everybody again, like he did for 3 years.
Yeah, well, nobody should. Nobody that kind of babyface doesn't work anymore. But again, and you also can't keep him heel and have him beat everybody. So Roman's kind of in limbo right now. And
yes, it's a difficult guy to book.
We'll see where they go with him in the future. But again, if Jacob's next in line, it's going to be lower on the card. So he has to elevate Jacob. He can't allow Jacob to, bring him down. It's going to be interesting. I'm not even saying that's where they're going, but that seems like where they're going, because they kind of put that program on pause for a while. So, and I don't see anybody else that's ready for Roman right now, so it's got to be Jacob.
Yeah, unless they keep the Roman Punk feud going after WrestleMania, which they could, because we still haven't seen the one-on-one, and they've got
right. They could do that, and then I don't know when Bronson Reed's coming back, but they could pair him up with Rollins so they could finish their little program before Bronson Reed got hurt.
That's right. They still have that in their back pocket too. All right, night 2 of WrestleMania.
I'm a little more jazzed for this night.
Less matches, but I would agree. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul.
See, okay, that's a good example right there, because AJ did get a television feud. He got a television feud with Karrion Kross. So they
didn't do it with Cody.
Yeah, at least for him, because this feud is it's very, very basic booking. The young Punk comes out and calls AJ an old timer and that he's better than him. And AJ's out of, he's a man out of time with, he's not cool anymore. Very basic booking. They've only had 2 angles that they shot, and then they just show videos. What I did like is that they had Karrion Kross in that TV feud wanting AJ to, he wanted the old AJ back. That was his angle, right? He's like, I want the old AJ back, the one that was feuding with John Cena back in 2016, 2017. You know, that's the AJ that I want. And then they had their little match at Raw. So I think it'll be a good match. I think if AJ's a gatekeeper now, I would have Logan Paul win. I think Logan Paul needs to win at WrestleMania because he hasn't had one since he teamed with The Miz back in Dallas.
Darasu. Well, I remember hearing that AJ's last year was going to be last year and that he was going to wrap it up this year. But I think with the injury and then with John Cena also retiring this year, he might not want to do that. He might like stay around for a couple more. Plus, he looks big. He looks like a monster, bro.
He's juiced up, bro. Say what you want to say.
He is. He's gassed to the gills, as they say. So
let's just say that him and Randall K share the same mailman, bro.
Yes, that's true. Zahor Rien. So Dr. Black. So now here's the way I'm seeing it. I would like to see an AJ Styles Gunther program before AJ retires. I think they could have some great matches together. And they're guys that came up in two different eras of the Indies, so they probably never actually got matched up together. So if they're going to do a Gunther AJ match later this year, I would probably have AJ win. As much as I would like to see a Logan Paul Gunther match, that's only going to work if Gunther
goes babyface. Wait a minute, Sports Guy 515 is correcting me, brother. He's saying that Logan won last year's at Mania. Who did he wrestle last year?
I don't remember. LA Knight?
You're always
Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens. No, it wasn't Kevin. Was it Kevin
No, LA Knight wrestled Alan Jones, bro, last year.
I don't remember.
Sports Guy, who did Logan who did Logan wrestle last year at Mania?
I honestly don't remember. Dead ass. Ricochet? No, that was SummerSlam.
You're such a poser, bro.
But you don't know the answer either.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Give me a second, bro.
Okay.
I'll be like that Mark that made a blanket statement earlier. I'm just gonna say that I do, and I have nothing to prove it.
Mm.
Anyways.
Yeah. It depends on what they're gonna do with each guy after Mania. Logan Paul doesn't have to win to keep his heat. That's one thing that we've learned. People just don't like him, and so that's the. Are you drawing something, bro? What's going on down there?
That's fucking with me. I'm looking it up.
Oh, I see. I thought you were fucking drawing pictures, bro. Little doodles and shit, bro.
The Pride. That was the name of the Bobby Lindsay fucking group. I thought that was what's his name?
Well, Pride certainly fits with him, but not the Japanese company.
Bro,
I'm gonna give you the one that the liberals like.
Okay, they're answering here, but I'm gonna give you the answer, bro. And I swear to Christ, our Savior, by the way, me and yours, that I have no memory of this match. I'm gonna give it to you right now. It turns out that Logan Paul beat KO and Randall K last year.
That's right.
Bro, I have zero memory of that. Zero. What the fuck?
I don't remember that either, bro.
You remember it, bro.
No, I really don't. All right.
Did he use the power of the punch to beat? I'm sure he did because that was his gimmick at that time.
Did he actually win though?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I bet Kevin Owens got pinned because Randy Orton never puts anything.
Oh, he never jobs, bro.
Never. All right, Braun Breaker.
He's gonna have to job to John Cena, his boy.
That's okay. He's probably okay with that. Braun Breaker, Pentagon Jr., Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. 4-way for the Intercontinental title. This is going to end up being where the Judgment Day finally breaks up, I think. Finn Balor is going to probably have a singles run after this, maybe.
Fergal Devitt. He'll become Fergal Devitt.
Yeah, maybe. The Prince. Dominic Mysterio is another guy who keeps his
Prince,
heat.
bro? You know why his name is the Prince? Because the Japanese didn't know how to say Fergal. They can't say Fergal. So it turned into Prince. That's a shoot, bro. That's a shoot. So it's the Prince Devitt.
It's not a bad name.
Purireso.
Puroreso. Rolling elbow, bro. The rolling elbow.
Bro. You're a very hateful man when it comes to different cultures.
Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic. How do you see
Braun Steiner. You mean Braun Steiner?
Bronson Rex Steiner is really it. Robbie's son, bro.
What about bro? The Road Dogg is friends with Big Kev. What about if he calls him Braun Einsteiner, bro?
That would pop me, bro.
The Einsteiner.
No, what would pop me is if we see them in the crowd and Michael Cole says, "There's Robbie and Scotty." That would only be for us, though. That would only be for us. Robbie and Scotty looking jacked tonight.
But the sister was the first one to ever fuck up because she said it at SummerSlam 93.
That's right. The shoot sister.
I used to bring them home. They used to look at Robbie and Scotty. You're out of here, pal.
Yeah, Todd Pettengill was the one who was like, what would happen when you would bring boyfriends home? Well, Robbie and Scotty, they'd take them out of there.
Who's Robbie, bro?
Yeah. We had to use deductive reasoning to figure that out, bro.
Was it another Einsteiner that wasn't in the picture, bro? I don't know.
It was the third one. Yeah, it was the third one, bro. It was like the Spike Dudley of the family, bro.
All right, Fergal Devitt pins Dom is one of these guys saying here.
Okay, is that what you think's gonna happen?
No, I think okay, so I think it's a 4-way because they want to take the title off Braun without pinning him. So I think I could deduce that Braun's not walking out of there with the title. Now the question is who wins the title. It's not gonna be Penta because he doesn't need it right now. It's gonna be Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, and then Dominic could be that heel, and you have Braun chasing him.
Well, not only do you have Braun chasing him, you also have Fergal Devitt chasing him as a babyface.
Yes, and Penta. You could have 3 different feuds come out of this.
Now, a low-key story here, bro, and I'm interested because nobody's talking about this. Dominic Mysterio keeps on saying we need another member, and I wonder who that could be. Like they keep he was saying we need another member. And
Miro, bro, Mirosevic.
And I mean, he could bring Lana with him, bro.
Not Mirko Krokopovich.
I would pop for that, bro. I would pop for that.
You called him once. Yeah, the badass Lance Storm.
He was remember Mirko Krokopovich was a cop on his spare time, bro. Tell me that's not alpha. He was a police officer in Croatia when he wasn't kicking ass in
right
the ring.
Kick hospital, left kick cemetery.
except from Gabriel Gonzaga got him, bro.
Isn't that Dave Meltzer's best friend, bro? Who you just named?
Bro. Garrett Gonzalez is his best friend.
Oh, okay, that's right. With the tuna subs in the fridge and the yoo-hoo for the kids. So, yeah, I could see that. Either Braun Breaker wins or he drops it to probably Finn back. Actually, I like your idea. I would go with Dom.
No, there's money in Dom, bro, because Dom could be the cocky heel, and it'll be a nice little reward for him for being a good little soldier over the last couple of years and getting himself over. And like you said, there's 3 programs that come out of that organically, so it's a win-win.
I think people underestimate how good he was in that Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley story. He was really good in that. All those segments were
as you know, bro, and for once we're not objectifying this woman, at least I'm not. And I've said it before, I'm very, very, very like impressed with Liv Morgan. Not only just, I mean, obviously she's a beautiful woman, but just her wrestling, bro. And
she's improved a lot.
And her character, like she's carried that women's division for a whole year. And then the ass kicking that she takes, she's like, you know, at the Elimination Chamber, she was all bruised up. At the Royal Rumble, she was all fucked up. Like this woman really gives it her all. So I'm glad she's getting a payday at Mania. And her and Dominic have been a good team. So yeah, they deserve it.
Yeah. That to me was, if the Bloodline was carrying SmackDown, the Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Dominic stuff was certainly carrying Raw. Even back when it was just Dominic and Rhea Ripley. I think we're going to look back on that in a few years and be like, yeah, that was I already see it as being a great program, but I think people will look back on it and say, yeah, that was good times.
What about Carlito Caribbean Cool, bro? What does he do for Mania?
He's Puerto Rican, bro. He's getting the night off. Remember, you said it last week. He got cut for not he got cut back in the day for not wanting to wrestle. And now he's been rehired and he's getting paid not to wrestle. You said that, bro. He's got like an AEW deal, bro.
I'm popping at my own joke, bro.
It's true, but it's true. You were right,
bro. Did you hear? Did you? You're a poser, so you probably haven't. Did you hear that controversial Nikki Khan interview that he did in the?
Yes, I did. When he Of course I did, bro. When he fucking put over Shad Khan like he always does and ignores the boy.
Yes, but he also said that they're not in the job of banking wrestlers. They
Yes,
sign
which is
wrestlers.
bullshit. Which is bullshit.
But he's gonna get called up because that. I mean, who have the WWE banked? Roman Reigns? Are you still pissed about that?
I'm not pissed about it, but is he talking about of all time
No,
or
bro.
like,
He's talking about how AEW signs wrestlers and then they bench them for like mid carders and then they bench them for months.
yeah, that's true. But WWE, go ahead.
Oh, who have they done that? Who with WWE? Who's the? I feel like everybody that they promoted in some way over the last month. Everybody,
Okay,
where's Britt
but
Baker
I
at?
was looking at that more so like all time. Like,
Yeah,
like
but
Vince
AEW
would
does
do
that
that
a lot, bro. AEW does
No,
that a lot.
AEW does do that, but Vince did that too, right? Now in recent years, not so much, but I mean, the biggest one I can think of is the Wyatt Six.
But Alex Quintero, like I gave the story of Alexa Bliss last week. Like I said, why she hasn't been used. A lot of it is her own shit. A lot of it is them fucking up the Wyatt Six. But I think,
example.
but Bo Dallas is hurt, bro. He's got a bad shoulder, so they just took the whole act out.
Yeah, I mean, during the Vince era, there was a lot more of it. So there is that. Yeah, I did hear I didn't hear it, but I read about the interview.
Casper Benoit, I want to let you know that you influence a lot of wrestlers that are in AEW more than you did wrestlers that are in WWE right now. So, because he's asking, when do we talk about AEW? And I'm telling him, you were such an influence on those guys more so than WWE guys. So we should talk about it.
Let's not go there, bro. Let's not go there.
What are you talking about? Look at all the AEW guys. They wrestle Casper Benoit style.
Okay, as long as that's the only influence. All right.
They're not gonna get any kids in the Cripper crossface, bro. Is that what you're thinking about? They did that with Brody Lee before he went to AEW. No, but that was different, Peter H. They did that because he was hurt and Vince didn't want to use him anymore. He gave up on him.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like the Vince era, there have been lots of examples of that. Maybe not so much the Nick Khan era.
Casper Benoit, Hoovy Juice is the one that gives the secret juice, not Casper Benoit.
Okay, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley for the women's world title.
I'm going with Bianca because I
think
the quote unquote money program is Jade and Bianca during the summer, probably culminating at SummerSlam. So,
well, I think they're gonna have to do a Ripley Bianca 1-on-1 prior to that.
Yeah, but that's gonna be like another program before Jade Cargill.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's true. And
but
again,
I was still hoping. I was gonna say the match order kind of kills my theory because I was hoping that they would get through the triple threat match on night 1, and then at night 2 they would have Jade versus Naomi, and then it's revealed that Bianca was in on it. But the way the match order is set up, unless they want to get Jade Cargill involved in that triple threat match, it wouldn't be a good idea for her to reveal herself as part of the attacker.
They could do it on television.
Well, they could do it on the Raw after WrestleMania.
Right.
But it's not going to be at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's not going to have that memorable impact.
As a matter of fact, because the pressure is to produce a good Raw after WrestleMania, I think WrestleMania has become pretty angle-less over the last few years. There's not a lot of angles that are shot at WrestleMania anymore, like back in the day. Remember, brother, Vince Russo shot like 30 angles at WrestleMania 15.
That was a 3-hour Raw, basically, is what it was.
It wasn't the Raging Climax like the year before, but
no, that was the Raging Climax.
Oh yeah, the year before was X-rated.
X-rated. That's right, bro.
With Connecticut Yankees singing the national anthem.
Where Jim Johnston got cut, bro. Jim Johnston got cut.
Not in my collection.
Yeah. Io Sky, Bianca. So this is similar to, I think, the 4-way in that Bianca winning and getting chased by Rhea and Io for a few months makes the most sense. I will say this. I was very disappointed about what they did on Monday. Yes, they did 3 promos with the 3 of them, and they were good promos, but I wanted them to do more stuff in the arena, more angles. I just, again, it feels like they peaked a little early, and that sucks. It just made for bad television The match in and of itself, though, I don't think it's going to be bad at all. Like it's
no, it's gonna be a great match.
It was supposed to be one-on-one. How do you feel about them making it a three-way? I mean, did they not have confidence, or was it a thing where Triple H was like, let's just give Io another big WrestleMania match? Like,
I think because Io has like legitimately been the best worker, in-ring worker of the year, they just wanted to reward her with this match. I think that's what Dave Meltzer said. It was just literally like, you earned this, so you're gonna be in the match. So, but to me, it's like Rhea and Bianca would have had a great match regardless. But maybe now it'll be even better if you throw Io Sky in there.
That's the question. Lots of three-ways this year, and then
but you with two other men is never gonna happen.
No, never. Well, two other men. Even one other man is never gonna happen.
That's what I meant, bro. Okay.
I mean, listen, I know you're in California, bro. I know you're into all that kind of stuff, bro.
I got some gauntlets for you. And be honest, bro. Don't bullshit. Don't try to save face here. What about if it's Peyton List and Robbie and you? What will you do?
If there's a dick involved, I'm not going.
Focus on the means to an end. Like, that's a means to an end.
Nope. If there's a dick involved, I'm not going.
But there's also the wonderful nectar that is Payne List.
Now you're talking my language, bro.
Okay, well then,
brother,
in order for you to get through heaven, you gotta go through hell. So,
well, according to my faith, if I go through that hell, I'm not gonna go to heaven. So,
okay, fuck it, Cholo and Peyton List.
No, I don't want him either, bro. I said no dick, bro. I said no dick. You're revealing a lot about yourself, bro.
What about Rob Macho and Peyton Liz, bro?
And then he picks an Italian. He goes from a white kid to a Mexican to an Italian. I'm supposed to change my mind.
Hey, maybe Rob Macho's older. Maybe he can't get it up and he'll just be in the corner watching you and Peyton. It's a risk.
I don't want him in the room, though, bro. But if I ever meet him, I'll be like, we'll do it for Johnny, man. That's all I'll say, bro. And that is not Johnny Lawrence.
What about Thomas Ian Griffin?
No dick, bro.
Bro, these guys are old. They can't do shit.
Doesn't matter. I don't want a dick in the room.
Fuck. All right.
Yeah, maybe fucking lefty liberals like you are okay with multiple dicks being in the room, but I'm not, bro.
What about Stingray and Peyton Liz, bro?
Why Stingray, bro? You had to go with the fat guy last.
Because he's going to be insecure and he's just going to want to watch. He's not even going to pull his pants down.
Yeah, but he's in Hollywood. He's probably already done that shit at the Diddy parties. Bro, no penis and Peyton List, bro.
Fuck,
none.
Man, you're very strict then.
I am very strict, yes. Cody Rhodes, John Cena. This is the main event.
Yes. Okay. Well, I mean, this one writes itself, right? It's John Cena wins
with Dewey helping him. Dewey's there?
What about if John Cena has him in the Death Valley Driver, bro? And then he looks at the camera and he goes, "F me? No, F you."
Or if he looks up and he goes, "Sorry, Dusty," and then does.
Come on, bro. No. That's like wanting the hologram of Percy Pringle, which we never got, by the way, for WrestleMania.
No,
29.
we didn't get it, bro. Technology wasn't ready yet. Now,
yes, it was. Tupac was around during that. That's what brought it. That's what put that idea in our heads.
Was the Tupac hologram back then?
Yeah, that was 2013. We thought we were gonna see it for Punk and Taker. Remember, the whole idea was that Punk stole the urn, and Taker was gonna.
Yeah, I know. And it was going to be the ghost of Paul Bearer. We did hear the ghost of Paul Bearer in that Taker 2020 Survivor Series segment. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Hush up, rigor mortis. That's the one
they should have just shown the whole segment with Lawler again, bro. Oh, right there.
Look at this Ethan Walker. We need to cut a promo on this guy. He said Cody might win. I'm not sure about that match. Why? Why would Cody win? But how is that? Where's the money there? Like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, Cody winning, because then what do? Then the story's over.
Yes.
Then it's Cody against who? Cody against Seth Rollins again? Like
Cody against Logan Paul again?
Like, yeah, what are you going to do after that? Cody actually needs a little bit of a break. Not saying that you give him a year off. But if you're gonna have Randall K go against John Cena, Cody doesn't have to be on that show, or maybe he can be on that show in like a mid-card match, but he doesn't have to be in the title picture for at least a couple of months. And that could be how you factor in Dewey. Dewey might do the no automatic rematch clause on him, bro. There's a lot of things they could do with the power play.
As long as he does the little fallow sign, because that pops me, bro. Which that's not, he does it like a little fallow though.
So I think that what they're going to do here is they're going to have Cody actually beat John Cena, and then Dewey comes out and restarts the match, and then Cena wins.
I would be so pissed, bro. I hate that.
I don't like it either, but I have a feeling they're going to do that, bro.
That's no. That takes no.
I don't like it either, bro, but I have that feeling. I like it more like Cody's gonna win, and then Dewey fucks him, as opposed to Cody actually getting the 1, 2, 3.
Because again, that's the Jim that falls into the Jim Cornette rule, bro. Where it's like, why the fuck don't you just bring the gun and shoot the motherfucker? Like you can't ruin our reality in that way. Like what the fuck? He's gonna come on. Like why doesn't he just do that? Okay. Then it leads to more questions. Why even have the match? Why not just strip Cody and give the like? So
You're right.
They're not gonna do that, bro. They're not that.
You're right. He can't have that much power.
Right. They gotta depower him like they did Vision in Infinity War.
Yes, or like they did Scarlet Witch and everything. And Thanos.
Well, except for those 2 seconds where she almost killed Thanos by herself.
Well, no, but she would have gotten it done if it was comic book Scarlet Witch. All I know is, bro, it was worth having her in the MCU to see her wearing that little teddy in episode 2 of and yes, I did use that word like
so you're
Paul
saying
Bear.
Percy would have fucked her. He would have had no choice according to him.
Now, if you throw me in a room with her and Peyton List, I could have a little bit more fun.
Bro, that's too easy.
Well, even though I'm an older guy, bro, I'm 41 now officially. This is the first year where WrestleMania has been after my birthday. You know that, right?
No, I don't.
My birthday's April the 14th. So every year WrestleMania is right before my birthday. This is the first year that's after. But I do want to cut a promo on something. Triple H has the audacity to call himself the King of Kings, and he's going in the Hall of Fame on Good Friday.
El Rey de Reyes.
And he's going in the Hall of Fame on Good Friday, bro. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, you should be upset because it's a slap in the face of people like me and you.
Well, people like me. So, okay.
I'm gonna cut you a deal, bro, because I like you because it's your birthday.
It's not my birthday. It was 2 days ago. Was my birthday.
It's your birthday month, bro. Let's celebrate the whole month. Pain List, all right. Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany watching from a mirror in the Vision outfit. Will you still do it?
Okay, that one might be okay.
But okay. There's an addendum. He can't make any promises that he won't get excited.
Okay, but he can't jump in. He's not allowed to jump in, bro. We're going to do like Tony Khan books, no interference, which is retarded, by the way. This match will have no interference. Every match.
The Continental Classic.
No interference. It's retarded. So, about this match, look, if this is going to be smoke and mirrors, whoa! Right? It's going to be smoke and mirrors, lots of weapons. If Dwayne's involved, he'll make it a no DQ because I just don't see them having.
Travis Scott's going through the table. You know that.
I'd be okay with that, but they're not. Then you know what? That is a good idea, genuinely. But I just don't like. The match can't just be a straight wrestling match. There has to be Gaga.
No, for that. I mean, John Cena's limited, bro. There has to be Gaga.
And it's the WrestleMania main event.
Yeah, there has to be Gaga. But here's the thing, bro, that concerns me. They have Damian Priest booked against.
Oh, that's right. We didn't even talk about that match. Oh my God, we didn't talk about it. Let's talk about that match now,
bro.
That is a feud that has improved.
Yes, I love that feud. But here's the deal: they have Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight. So that means they're gonna use gimmicks. So what does that mean for the main event? Like, is it gonna be overkill? Like that's what that I'm. It's weird that they made this a street fight.
Well, I think we'll see. I think the street fight will be more maybe brawling on the outside, maybe in the back. I think the Cody Rhodes Cena will be in the ring. Also, because you can have multiple like no DQ matches if they're different. Also, I think what we talked about earlier with the three-way will happen in this match where there's going to be a lot of drama. Like when you said, F me, F you, like they could actually do something like that.
Yeah.
Like they really could. I wouldn't even hate it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the business. Like the business can be a little corny. So I think that you.
Well, it always is, bro. It just is. It always is.
Right. It's like Cobra Kai is corny. Like Dragon Ball is corny. That makes me corny, basically. But I don't give a fuck because I'm 41, and I've gotten mine. You got to get yours. That's what I say to Gen Z, bro. I got like what Bernie Mac said. I don't give a fuck. I got mine. You got to get yours.
One of my heroes.
Yeah. So
let me interrupt you real quick because Junior RDZ04 is this fucking George Lucas early film? What the fuck?
He's a big mark for you, bro.
Did you kiss him? That's all he wrote, bro, and that pops me.
Yeah, he's a big mark for the KLB. He brings up the KLB even on non-KLB streams.
Brother, Junior, no,
he's not Dos Santos who smiles during the match, bro.
That's why we need American Top Team because he gave us
little fella. and we had Paige Van Zant, bro, and that's
but she was, and we saw her. Were you at that show with me when we saw her live against Sammy Guevara and his Cluster B bitch?
What show was that?
That was Double or Nothing 2022 or 23. You're the one that's dialed in.
I went to 23 and 24. No, I went to 22 and 23, so I think so, but I forgot all about that match.
Yeah, it was Paige Van Sant teaming with someone.
Was Jericho?
No, with Scorpio Sky. Talk about being benched, bro.
Yeah, bro. He's been benched most of his career. But WWE, he ain't gonna go to WWE, I don't think.
Well, he could go to NXT.
NXT beat me to it.
Because as we know
what the N stands for, bro.
Next, of course.
Yeah, that's right. So he could.
So, anyways, once Paul Bettany would be in there with with his
if he's behind a mirror, I would be okay. Like I could work with that. Bro.
What about if he comes in fully erect while you're fucking Elizabeth Olsen and
then I'm taking a break.
No, but he can't join. He's just watching.
No, because if I look at him and I see his cock, it's not gonna work for me anymore, brother. That don't work for me, brother.
Don't look at him, bro.
No, I'm gonna look, bro. If somebody comes in the room, I'm gonna look.
Stay focused on the hard cam, bro. Like they teach us in wrestling. No, but after that, I would go into the room and go, "Did you kiss him?"
Yes, that would be an easy opportunity for you. Okay. But Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, that is a feud that I think has improved.
Or as Drew McIntyre called him, the Timo Undertaker, bro, which popped me.
That's right. That feud has improved. I think the promo work, they went from me not caring to me at least wanting to see the match. The promo work has improved. They're big guys, but guys that know how to wrestle a little bit. So I think it'll be good, bro.
As long as we get the arrow shot for the entryway, which he doesn't do anymore, bro.
No, I don't want that. You know how much I hate that, bro.
What was the Archer or whatever? That was his name. He had a wacky nickname, bro.
Yeah.
He would go da-da, da-da, and then I just tapped Damian Priest.
I like how he uses the word punishment in his promos, just as a little nod to somebody like me who will never call him Damian Priest ever.
Would it pop you if Drew McIntyre comes out to his heel theme, bro, from when he was getting a push back in the mid 2010s?
They did that already in the Roman match. That would pop me though. No, what would pop me is if
that was CFO, Priest, bro. It wasn't these jabronis. CFO. It wasn't these jabronis.
I don't think that was that was before CFO. That was still Jim Johnston, bro.
No.
2006 was still Jim Johnston.
Did he write too many lines as well?
I think so. I think so, yeah, because they didn't come until like 2012.
Xavier the God said Broken Dreams. That's right. That was his theme song, bro.
Yeah, Broken Dreams. Yeah, not Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
No, that's Green Day, bro. One of my favorite bands.
Yeah. So how do you see it? I think this will be a good match, bro. I think it'll be a sleeper match of the weekend.
Yes, but obviously Drew's gonna win because Drew's more.
He kind of needs it. He kind of needs the win.
Yeah, and he's also more in the main event scene.
And I will say this, I was thinking about what somebody said before about Dewey having Drew be in his stable. I actually wouldn't be against that. If we see a Cody Drew feud coming out of Mania where like The Rock basically
that could be Cody's mid card feud that you said, even though it would be upper mid
card. Yeah, Drew sends, or I'm sorry, Dewey sends Drew after Cody and basically like, tells him like, cripple him. Like it's not about beating him in a match, but hurt him. Old school Harley Race style booking. That could work. And then you have Cena and Randy Orton do their thing, and you have Drew, and that's still a fresh match. Plus, like I mentioned before, Drew has a clean pinfall win against Cody from last year. 2 years ago, actually.
No, I would, yeah, because I was thinking Punk should be in Dewey's stable, but I would agree.
That might be for next time, for later on.
Yeah, I would rather have Drew now that I think about it, because Drew's already a heel, so it would be a good fit.
Drew would be like an assassin character more than or an enforcer, bro.
Yeah, you know the angle that they dropped that was kind of cool was Drew trying to like fuck up all the bloodline again. Remember he had that angle like 2 months ago that just went nowhere because then he started focusing on Damian Priest.
I thought what they were doing, because remember they did the same thing with Kevin Owens. I thought what they were gonna do is they were gonna have a new stable with Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins going after the remaining bloodline members.
Yeah,
that could have worked, bro.
Because all three of them were kind of then they kind of dropped it.
They all were doing it at the same time. They were all, and I like that because it plays up the previous 3 or 4 years. But you know what, bro? They could still go back to that if they want to.
Yeah, and then another storyline they dropped was Solo and Cody, because Solo came back and attacked Cody in early February.
That's right, he did.
And then they had a feud.
It could have been like a TV feud.
Yeah, and then they had a feud. They had a feud that was gonna culminate on a SmackDown, and then Aldis pulled Cody from that match. Do you remember that? And then because The Rock wanted to talk to him, and then that's when they just forgot about Solo. They never went back to that feud.
That's more Dwayne getting involved in shit and ruining the fucking build up to shit. It's kind of annoying, bro. All right, we got super chats here.
As long as it doesn't say, somebody pinched me. I think I'm dreaming.
Hey. So you like Drew again. You've forgiven him.
No, I haven't, bro.
You'll never forgive him, bro.
No, I will.
I forgave Jake Gyllenhaal for his sins.
Bro, why? Because he
acted?
That's
a sin. This is a sin
he
city.
Acted, bro?
Yeah. Hey, listen. I've sent you the clip before.
Wait a minute, you missed one match.
What did Terrence Howard say last week, bro? I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it is a guy that believes in time traveling to the past, bro. Like, we can't take him serious.
Well, we know a real time traveler, bro.
And,
so
including him actually writing the computing all the formulas.
So he basically wrote what Pedro Pascal was writing in Fantastic Four. Was him, bro. He should have been fucking back in the MCU.
Bro, I have a question for you, because you disrespected these women in this match. Who's gonna take it, Liv Morgan or Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley?
I forgot all about that match, bro. Oh my God, you're right. That's gonna be a good match. I really think that'll be a good one. I think part of me thinks that they could have Bayley turn on Lyra, but I don't think I want Bayley as a heel again this soon. So I think the heels are gonna win, but I think the feud continues.
Yeah.
But also, there's a lot of heels winning on this show too. So,
right,
I can see Bayley and Lyra winning, bro. They don't really have anything else going on.
Well, Bayley and Lyra. Oh yeah, but they're also kind of quasi feuding. They're quasi feuding. They're doing that whole gimmick where Bayley's kind of low key jealous of her. So they might.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want her to turn this soon, though.
I don't know. Bayley has a big ass, bro. That's what matters to me.
Edward Norton, bro. Edward Norton. She should have been in fucking. If they put her in Captain America instead of Seth Rollins, it would have made more sense. She's got unfinished business with the leader.
She's got the nice little bubble butt that I enjoy looking at.
No, she has the biggest ass in the company, I think, right?
Yeah, bubble butt.
Yeah, but that's a big bubble. Shit. Didn't you tell me? Okay, I'm having a flashback right now.
All right, bro.
In one of our
Hurry up, I'm gonna up my offer right now for you.
In one of our early conversations.
Oh shit.
Going back to 2011, 2012.
When I proclaimed Roman Reigns to be the future of the business, and I was correct.
No, wait a minute. Everybody proclaimed that back
Nah,
then.
not at that time. Don't
No,
that at
you
that time.
you also said Jesse was this
Goddard, who ended up going to he became a TV star, and Nick Aldis, who ended up becoming a pretty big deal.
Well, he's a TV star now. So no, it wasn't Nick. Was it Nick Aldis?
Yeah, it was Brutus Magnus, bro.
I thought there was another guy. Well, anyways, okay, so
You chose Relic, which is killer spelled backwards.
No, I did not, bro. Killer spelled backwards.
That's who you chose, bro. You were like, I think it's gonna be Relic, who's killer spelled backwards.
I never said that, bro.
Well,
that was around that time period, though. That was around.
You chose Chris Storm, bro. You told me Chris Storm's the future of this business. You'll see.
Who the fuck is Chris Storm, bro?
Chris Harris.
Who the fuck is Chris Storm, bro?
Chris Harris.
Okay, that's a different guy.
Brandon Walker, bro.
I thought you were talking about what's their name, bro? Quiet Storm. What's the name of that team, bro?
From the Quiet Indies? Storm.
No, there was two guys though. There was
Matthews and York.
No, not them, bro. You know what I'm talking? Maybe you don't know.
The Backseat Boys.
No, those are all great teams though.
Trent Acid.
The SAT, bro.
The Spanish announce team.
Yeah. What about the Boogie Nights?
Yeah, that was Disco and Alex Wright, bro.
There was the Christopher Street Connection. That's your favorite tag team as a left leading person.
They had Hydro in it, which became Ricochet.
No, Hydro became Jay Lethal. You racist.
Who was Ricochet? Ricochet's always been Ricochet, right?
Ricochet. Well, not in Lucha Underground.
No, he was Puma or some shit.
Something like that. Okay, let's get to this fucking question, bro. It's been on the screen forever. Marry, fuck, kill Stratus, Lita, and Mickey James.
Well, Mickey James is a cluster B. We both know that for reasons we can't get into on this show. Let's just say that Dickie Steamboat went in for a wake-up call and he found a surprise.
Yeah, bro.
And that's
pinched me. You could have pinched me. Ricky, next time knock on the door. Does that sound like Drew McIntyre or Anchor, bro?
The Anchor World Order.
Pinch me. I was in the middle of getting mine.
I'm getting John Cena seconds, but that's okay.
Birds,
we like,
bro.
We like big girls. We like the Arby's. Anyway, so I would kill her because of that.
I would kill her too.
I would fuck Lita because she's fucked a lot of guys, and I know she's wild and has a lot of experience.
And she's been with El Dandy, who has a similar body type to you. So
yes, and she's been with a lot of guys actually.
Yeah,
including CM Punk, and
including Adam Copeland, bro.
Cope, you mean Cope?
That's what I said, Adam Copeland.
And so, but I know she has a lot of good experience, and she would give me a ride for my money. And
you sure they're good? You sure it's good experience?
So I would fuck Lolita, and I would marry Trish Stratus because she's a nice woman, Christian from what I hear, yoga practitioner. Been married to the same guy for 25 plus years.
Fat guy that
was a fat guy.
You proclaimed him fat.
First of all, we don't use that word here. Dietarily challenged individual. Build her a house, brother. This guy, he's an oxymoron because.
Thank you, Zeta.
He built her a house, but he's dietarily challenged.
So this ain't Ryan Gosling from The Notebook, bro.
He's alpha and beta at the same time. So
so are you.
So I would marry Trish, even though she did fuck Dewey. I'll imagine
allegedly.
I'll do the Chris Candido gimmick where I'll imagine shit's not happening when it's really happening in front of my face. So that's what. Damn, bro! I expected you to pop you that much with.
No, because that's not only is that funny, that's also very cold-hearted of you, but true. And that's why he will not be on the Alpha. That's why, even though he was a great wrestler, he will never, ever, ever be on the Alpha Mount Rushmore, bro. I love Chris Candido, but there's no respect.
Check it out. Frente de Bistec has a good point. He says, ¿Cuántos cuernos Trish le ha pegado a ese cabrón? In other words, he's saying, how many times has this bitch been unfaithful to this fat guy who built her a house?
We don't know.
Dewey for sure. No, we don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure, but she's definitely stuck with him. So either he's beta and she's using him, which doesn't seem to be the case. She can get anybody she wants, bro. She can be fucking around in Hollywood and shit.
But maybe she has been unfaithful, but this guy still gives her good dick. Like two truths could be this. Two things could be true.
Maybe he doesn't know, bro. Like Paul Dano, does he know?
Or maybe he does, and he's like Chris Candido, R.I.P.
We almost watched Prisoners this past weekend,
but I love her. Who was the one that was telling Chris to get his head out of his ass? But was it Davey Boy or was it Ahmed Johnson, bro? Oh no, they both tapped Sonny under his watch.
Yeah, and so did New Jack. Not New Jack. Scorpio. Who was the guy that tapped?
Let's hope now, bro. Are you kidding me?
No, New Jack tapped the same chick that Dave Meltzer tapped.
Bro, if Scorpio taps you, you wouldn't be right for a year, bro. Easy.
That's true. Well, she was never right, Tammy. So
yeah, she's running in jail. Thank God, because she's a fucking murderer, like Casper Benoit.
Yes, Junior are. So what I was gonna say earlier, before we get to Junior's question, was, you told me a long time ago, and I can't believe I remembered this, that one of the games you played when you were a kid on Nintendo was Mega Man 2, and that you always liked Bubble Man. Was that you, or am I just making that up?
What the?
Because when you said Bubble Butt, it reminded me of that. Was that you?
I'm sure we had this conversation during the Pixels and Bits days. I'm sure.
Yeah, 2011, 2012. Yeah.
Yes.
Because you've never been a big video gamer, but when you bring it up,
I like pussy, bro. So no, I'm not.
Yeah, it's usually something from your childhood, pre-pussy, like on the Nintendo. That was kind of your main.
I peaked with Nintendo.
Because I remember when you got all the
Nintendo.
ROMs. When you got all the ROMs, you were marking out over Bonk on TurboGrafx 16.
And I never played them once, bro.
I thought you played Bonk.
I mean, for a little while, like maybe like 5 minutes, and then I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And I turned it off.
Did you get pussy right after?
No.
That's
but
the wrong
I
answer.
did eventually.
That's an easy layup. You should have been like, yes.
I'm an honest person, bro. I'm a baby face. I'm a natural baby face.
Easy layup, bro.
Like Chico Santana and Dickie Steamboat.
Easy. Yeah, well. All right, Junior says, if it isn't my favorite duo, Lean and Cuisine. If Danny
why does he keep on saying that, bro? I don't understand. I'm the Cuisine now, right? Because I'm bigger than you now.
I guess.
And you're Lean.
And I guess if
as long as we're not the Rap Patrol, bro, from the Southern Territories. Remember that tag? The Rap Patrol.
The Rat Pack?
No, the Rap Patrol. That was a tag team in the blowjob tag team from the Southern Territories.
The only ones I remember were the Rock and Roll RPMs, which were the heel Rock and Roll Express.
Yes.
We need something like that again, bro. The business needs that.
Maybe,
so he says
maybe Paul should sign the Young Bucks and give him the Rockers theme, bro.
That would be awesome, bro. You know what? If Tony Khan hires Jim Johnston to do his music, bro, that's going to improve AEW a lot, especially with CEO. That's got to be the worst music in the business.
But as long as he doesn't switch. No,
that can't ever change, bro. You know what? Will Ospreay has good music too. Kenny Omega's like Triple H. He's got like 3 different themes.
Yeah, bro, and I like the New Japan one, the original.
The Final Fantasy one? The original one, not the Final Fantasy, the new one. So, okay, so he says, if Daddy's drinking water, he's a certified post-87 baby.
Yes.
Drink some naked.
What the fuck?
I don't know. That's probably some energy drink that he drinks or something. Listen, yes, only people born after 1987 drink water, bro. That makes a lot of sense.
No, you're beta because you only drink water is what we're trying to say. Not that you drink water, that you only drink water.
That's true.
Somebody asked me earlier, I'm having piña colada with some tequila. That's what I'm having. That's what
you know how to make piña colada at home?
No, but I just.
Oh, you bought it.
I have tequila, and I have my big gulp of piña colada.
Brother, my mom.
You mix them together, and you hope for the best, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, that sounds like earlier when you were throwing those 3-ways at me, bro. Which I rejected all of them. So my mom was such a big lover of piña colada, bro. Like that's her favorite drink that she actually bought. Let me know if you have this where you live. She bought piña colada flavored ice cream.
What the fuck?
Yeah, she loved it. Do you have that out there?
No, and we have those gimmick ice cream shops that have like 45 flavors, and they put
Right. That should be one of them.
We have piña, but not colada. Was it spiked?
No, I didn't have any alcohol in it, but it tasted like piña colada.
Oh, okay. It's called Virgin then. Like a lot of
Well, it was my mom, bro. She liked it, but it tasted like piña colada.
No. I'm saying the drink, it would be classified as virgin. That's a term, bro.
Well, she definitely wasn't a virgin because I exist. So,
brother, I'm not saying she is. I'm saying the drink is a virgin.
What is this? Kofi Kingston is Kang, bro? Kang Kofi Kingston. I get it.
But you think he'll be a good Kang?
No. No, bro. Kofi Kingston
first of all, Jonathan Majors has an actual chest, brother. He bench presses. This Kofi Kingston, he's got the alien gimmick where the little xenomorphs coming out of his chest, bro.
He'd be a great alien.
Or a predator because he's got the dreads.
That's true. Yeah, but the Predator could be half the NXT roster.
Look at Ronwell Nogales, bro.
He says CM Punk is perfect as the Thing. Cut his neck because of his entrance, brother. His entrance, just because he says it's clobbering time, doesn't mean that he'd be a good thing, bro. Flame on, bro.
Maybe he means that Kurt Hennig would be a good thing because look, he says CM Punk is perfect.
Oh, okay, that could be. Yeah, he's playing 3-dimensional chess.
Rap is crap.
Listen, bro. Batista would be a good Human Torch because flame on, and that's all I'm gonna say, bro.
All right. Here we go, bro. I'm gonna give you another one. Pain List. Who else do you have an erection?
Shannon Elizabeth.
Really? Even old Shannon Elizabeth?
Look at her now, bro. Find me a 51-year-old that looks like that. You won't.
All right. Let's throw her. Okay,
or you could also throw in Mariah May, who might be heading up north, brother. She might be going up north to the New York.
She's got a flat ass, bro. She's got a flat ass. I don't like her that much. Anyways, Mariah May. This is your fantasy, bro, not mine. Mariah May, Pain List with her. The good thing about Pain List is that she'll be able to see you and Mariah May even if both of you are standing in different sides of the room. Because look at her eyes.
You had me, bro, and then you ruined it.
Okay, Paul Bettany gets to stand in the room with you.
Why Paul Bettany, bro?
Because he's the Vision, bro.
Yeah, but he's not even like Scarlet Witch isn't even in this fantasy now. And he's still sticking around.
Okay. Martin Cove. So Martin Cove is in there.
Brother, he that guy is less into that shit than I would even be, bro.
In his birthday suit, right? Now I'm gonna give you
no mercy.
I'm gonna give you a get out of jail free card at the time. So you're gonna be porking Pain List and who else did we say? Elizabeth whatever.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Now Martin Cove it's gonna be like a video game. He's gonna move around with his birthday suit, but you have Bailey's bubble butt to cover your view, but you can only use her once.
What do you mean use her once?
Yeah, like you like let's say Martin Cove is like in your peripheral and you're getting worried, you could call in for Bailey to come in and cover that with her bubble butt. But once you do that, you can't use Bailey anymore, and Martin Cove is still in the background. So at that point, you just have to use your own eyes to avoid that.
How long do I have Bailey?
Well, that's up to you, bro. How long can you jackhammer?
Well,
it could be anywhere from a minute or an hour.
If it's Peyton List, it's Peyton List, so it could be like 5 minutes.
Are you gonna be King Kong Brody and Dic Flair in St. Louis and go an hour, or are you gonna be King Kong Bundy in WrestleMania 1?
I'm too old to go an hour, bro. But here's the thing. But I'm also too young to go more than a few minutes. So if it's Peyton List, maybe it'll go 5 minutes. But because I'm 41, it might go 30, bro. With 25 of me trying to get it up. So
so you could do whatever you want. She could help you with that. So that's the deal.
Well,
bro.
I'm sure she would help me.
So that's the deal. You get Bubble Butt Bailey.
Okay, if Bailey's ass can block Martin Cove
one time.
Okay, but how long of a time? You said I could pick, right? For the whole time, then.
No, because
from when my dick is out to when I put it back in my trousers.
He's moving around like Duck Hunt, bro. You know how the dog comes out at different times from different angles?
Yeah.
So he's moving around like Duck Hunt. So it's up to you. Like Maybe it's like a video game. If you establish Martin Cole's pattern, if you could establish Martin Cole's pattern,
This is all because I brought up Bubble Man.
Look, bro, if you could establish,
bro, we've got super chats to go through. I hope you realize that.
But okay, so yeah, will you do it then, or still just a no?
No dick in the room.
Ah, bro. Okay, let's go to this fucking.
All right, Zeta Force says, including Shadows in the Cave. Damn, this guy really knows the 100 greatest moments in history.
What the fuck is that? Have we ever worked?
What is the single best and worst piece of media y'all have worked on in the archives? Wait a minute. Isn't Shadows of the Cave your book?
It's my podcast. Like
but you have a book also coming out called right. Okay.
Right. But it's my podcast.
So how does he know about that, bro?
It's Zeta Force 2500. It's our questions you don't ask.
So what the fuck is the 100 greatest moments in history?
When did we do that?
No, I did the 10 greatest moments in history on Super Friends One Night Stand, and number 1 was Mr. Eddie's birth. Remember, Jesus Christ was number 2. That was number 1 is Mr. Eddie's birth.
I like how you say that and you're popping yourself, bro. Like if it's the funnest thing ever. Look at you, bro.
That was a
such
fun
a
night.
Big ego, bro.
That was a fun night, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna answer.
But there's no way this guy goes all the way back to that because
I'm gonna answer that. Let me answer Zeta Force 2500, bro. The best piece of media, the one that I encourage everyone to find, and you have to find it because I don't think it's available. So good luck with that. It's like the Travis Scott Jordan Force, bro.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
My favorite one is WrestleMania 2930.
I knew it. No, I knew it.
That's a classic.
That's exactly what I knew you were gonna say.
The worst piece of media is the one where Mr. Eddie was gonna call prostitutes or solicitors, I should say, and he never did.
Were you on that though?
And Danny Geekdom teased it for at least a couple hours because that was a bait and switch, bro. You fucked up right there, bro, because you bait and switched it. This guy never delivered, and then the show just ended, bro. So that's my worst piece of media. Now you answer.
I thought you were gonna say anything with Garrett.
No, why? I love Garrett, bro. He's my co-host.
Well, because of Tiberium, but I don't hate the stuff I did with Garrett. It's good. The worst piece of media.
This is gonna have you bury some of your own stuff, which is very difficult for you with your.
No. I'm gonna bury something that's not really my own stuff, but it is. The worst piece of media I've ever been involved in. There was an interview that I did with Stevie J with an indie guy, and the guy wouldn't break kayfabe, and the entire interview he was like, the gods are telling me to answer the question. Like the dude was.
That sounds pretty awesome, bro. You're doing the opposite. You're not.
No, it's not. Listen.
Was it Peter B. Beautiful, bro?
No, listen. This went on for like 30 minutes, and I'm DMing Stevie, and I'm like, dude, end the fucking interview. Like, you need to. Like, he wouldn't answer any questions. He would just say the same thing over and over again. And because Stevie was too scared to end it, or he gets intimidated by some of these like famous people. He fucking didn't want to end it, and it just went on.
Peter says he was there, bro.
I'm sure he was there. He's like the only one that remembers. That was the worst piece of media I've ever been involved in.
Peter says I was on that show too.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he was. I believe it. Then you know what I'm talking about. Do you remember the name of the indie geek, bro? Let's just say he never made it in wrestling, bro. That one was bad.
It's not Peter B. Parker.
No, not Peter B. Parker, bro.
No, the reason I said Peter B. Beautiful was because I told this story to Danny, I think off air before. Like, I met the first indie wrestler that I ever met I was a part of an E-Fed back in like 97.
Virgin shit, bro.
And there was a guy called Peter B. Beautiful, who was an indie wrestler who wanted to book the territory with me. That's why.
And that's Peter Avalon?
No, bro. That guy was still like a sperm in his daddy's nutsack, bro.
Remind Peter H that Matt Serra knocked out GSP, bro. We have to remind him of that every time. So, the best piece of media I've ever been involved in
was when you interviewed Lex Luger.
It is an interview. When I interviewed John Walsh from America's Most Wanted, that's like the peak of my career, I think.
Well, that's a good interview.
I was very happy with that. So that I would put that up there. There's also those alpha and beta.
Bro, you talked to somebody from the Illuminati, bro.
Yes, I did.
And
yes,
folks,
I did.
let
And
me
then he
tell
died
you,
shortly after, bro.
this is not hyperbole. This man interviewed someone from the Illuminati, which is probably, it's not as a big deal as it used to be when me and you were 10 years younger, right? I mean, that was a thing back then, and that was a big deal to me.
Okay, Peter H. Forget Matt Serra. Tell me the name of that indie geek, bro. So that was a big one for me. Also, the KLB episodes with the alpha and betas.
Except for the one that would never hit the air, which is the original one.
No, the one that was off air. Yeah, we can't, because let's just say that you and Dave Melter in '89 writing about rap groups had very similar vocabulary on that recording.
Oh,
bro.
Junior RDC said Don Marquise, bro.
Doc Marquis, yeah, well, that was a big one. Yeah, I think John Walsh is bigger.
Bro, I like what he says. He's like, although the audio quality was tin can, he calls it a tin can, bro.
Well, it was the old fucking way. It was the old way.
But what the people don't know is that he worked you. You had to buy his DVD before he would give you the interview.
I don't think I had to buy it. I think he wanted me to buy one. I don't remember having to buy, but you might be right, because it was so long ago.
No, and then the best part is that you buried ROH because you said that Don Marquise's DVD had a better menu screen than the Ring of.
I did say that. It's true.
Than the Ring of Honor DVDs, bro.
It had better production. I'm not lying. Hold on. Hold on. I'm having some issues with my not with my connection, with my YouTube here. Give me just 1 second. Okay. Bro. Okay. J Boba 28 says, I normally don't care for WWE YouTube produced lists, but having Kurt versus Shawn at 22 is BS. Plus, Austin versus Brett is better than Taker versus HBK. What he's talking about is the recent WWE's greatest WrestleMania matches countdown. I didn't get to see it. I was talking to JD about it over the weekend. But the thing is, it's always the same shit. Like, I'm actually surprised it wasn't Shawn and Brett in the Iron Man match again, because they jack off that match.
Frente de Viste. I never knew I shared that story. He says, I like the KLB where Draven and the black guy went to Mexico.
Oh, I love that story, bro. Yeah,
with the shrimp and the midget and all that.
Yes. I remember that
Holy
story.
Holy shit! I forgot I shared that.
That actually wasn't that long ago. That was a more recent episode. That was like a 2018 episode, bro.
Yeah, well, the list. What about this list?
Well, the chancleta story was a classic from me.
No, this list, bro. The YouTube list.
Peyton list. No, so they have a WWE did a countdown of the best WrestleMania matches of all time, and Brett and Austin got number 3, I think, and number 1 was Shawn and Taker at Mania 25.
No, I disagree with that. I
disagree with it too.
And that's not to say that was a great match.
Yeah, they're all great matches. It's just the order.
And the only reason they did that, folks, is because obviously Taker and HBK are still very much a part of the company.
The Triple H's boys.
Very biased, very biased. But all 3 of them are very good matches. Kurt, Austin, and Take.
Yeah, I do want to say that, and I know I'm in the minority, but we've talked about it. I like their WrestleMania 26 match more. I thought it had better psychology.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna up the ante for you, bro. One last offer, because I want you to be happy, and I want you to fuck Payne Liz. So here we go. Tell me one more of your female crushes, because I'm actually going to introduce another one. I'm going to give you 3 women at the same time. So we're going to have Shannon Elizabeth, Payne Liz, and give me another one that you're crushing on.
If there's a dick involved, count me out, bro.
No, there's not, because you've already made that clear.
All right, Tessa Fowler.
I don't know who the fuck that is, but I'm sure I'm not supposed to know.
Google.
Okay. So let's say you're getting it on, but okay. So before you get it on, they're gonna say, could we do anything? And you're gonna say yes. Okay.
No.
So as they're
nothing
getting
ain't cool. I'm also not gonna wear the ball gimmick from the Gimp, bro.
You're such a pillow zombie, bro. You're such a pillow zombie. You're boring. So look, you're gonna have Painless, Shannon Elizabeth, Joe Fowler from SummerSlam '93.
No, yeah, you brought me back with that one.
Like three beautiful women, bro, with no dicks around. The only dick that's gonna be flapping is yours. But
okay,
they're gonna bring out a feather, bro, a chicken feather, because Painless is into that kinky shit, and she does want to tickle. She wants to give you some rear end work with that feather. Yes or no? Think about it. That's all you have to do.
She's gonna stick the feather up my ass?
Maybe.
No, if she wants to tickle my fucking nalgas with it, maybe I'll take it. That's just distracting for me. I wouldn't like it, but nothing's going in the ass, bro. And if that makes me a pillow zombie or
beautiful
vanilla,
women, bro.
I don't want nothing in my ass, bro.
All right.
I'm straight, bro. I was born standing up.
You're missing out.
Maybe.
No Joe
How do you know I haven't had offers similar to this in real life, and I've said no because I don't want nothing in my butt?
No, I believe it because.
Did you remember the story with the MILF that she wanted me to come in her husband's mouth? Remember that story?
Bro, that's very specific, and no, I don't. But here's the deal.
You don't remember that story? That's a KLB story, bro.
Here's the deal, bro. You're missing out.
She was a 9 out of 10, bro. But when she told me she wanted me to come in her husband's mouth, I said, no.
You fucked up.
No, I didn't fuck up, actually. Everything was cool. I mean, everything was cool. First, she's like, oh, I want him to hear in the other room. I'll be loud. I said, okay. But he's not going to come in on you. I said, all right. That's fine. And because he's a cuck. He's one of those guys that likes to hear other men fuck his women like John Morrison. And he's into that shit, bro, which is very beta. There's no respect.
Very non-Christian is what it is.
Well, no, it's very beta. It's very Greek culture, let's just say. But
Peter A said he found it, bro. So let us well, what happened?
What's the name of the indie geek, bro? I don't say I found it. Give me the name of the indie geek. So she told me she wanted me to come in her husband's mouth, and I said no. She's like, oh, he won't touch it, just like stroke it off in his mouth. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. She likes it when her husband swallows other men's nuts. There it is, bro. IZW wrestler Bobby Starr. That guy is garbage, bro.
From Oklahoma?
From Oklahoma.
Maybe he's one of the Creed brothers now, and you fucked up.
How did I fuck up? He's the one that had the bad interview.
Well, Alice Quintero said, was the husband going to receive in the Terminator pose?
No, it wasn't even like that. That's a true story. I could have sworn I told you that story. I really did think that I told you that story.
I was already fucked up like I am right now.
Yeah.
What does Lobo Negro have to say?
He says, will Hunter have Charlotte win so they can do Charlotte versus Jade at SummerSlam? I don't know if that's in the plans right now.
Yeah, that's not really in the plans. I wouldn't want to see that match anyway. They don't complement each other's styles. I
agree. One's Snow White and one's the opposite.
The storm is coming.
Hey, that guitar solo's dope though.
Yeah, and that's these nerds that are getting heat for not doing good music.
Well, her AEW theme was better, I think. All right, I'm scrolling down to the next.
I'm writing it down.
So Junior says, speaking of bubbles, have y'all ever watched Danny's dad's tape of Bobby's bubble? But how does this guy remember shit like that, bro? Like, you remember shit to where I'm starting to get creeped out. Like, that is a true story, but how does he remember all this shit, bro?
Maybe he's seen Alberto El Loco in person, bro.
I'm sure he remembers that story.
We say it all the time. But
Lord knows you fucking remember.
Bro, maybe this is Alberto El Loco, bro.
No, because I bet the Loco couldn't even speak, much less type.
Man, he had a fucking dog collar and they fed him from a bowl, bro.
No, the bowl's the part that you made up, but he did have a dog collar with a chain on it, and he was barking like a dog.
Speaking of bubble,
And remember, I was 10 years old. I was a 10-year-old kid looking at this, not know how to take it.
Bro, what's up with Bobby's bubble butt?
That was the VHS tape that I found my dad was hiding. I went behind the TV once in my living room, and there was a paper bag there because my parents were out of the house, and I opened it, and there were 2 porn tapes in there. It was like Bobby's Bubble Butt volume whatever, and they were my dad's, bro. And my dad hid them behind the VCR as if I wasn't gonna find them. And I told that story on the KLB, bro. Bobby's Bubble Butt. That's
very bad strategy by your dad because
he's an idiot.
There was no way you were not gonna find it there. Why did
especially when I knew he had porn in the house?
Bobby's. Were you able to put the tape in the machine?
I saw a little bit of it. Yes, I did see a little bit of it, bro.
So I'm assuming Bobby's was a female. It was Bobby's a female name. It wasn't. No.
It was one of those gimmicks where it was a guy, but he picked certain girls that had big asses. You know what I mean? Like
I thought that was one. I thought much like Shawn Michael Hickenbottom's. No. No, bro. Much like what did Bret Hart say about the Playgirl?
What did he say, bro?
He said
not Shawn Michaels SCAN, not that one.
No, bro. That's he's a star.
But he could headline NXT because the first letter in NXT is
for next.
That's right.
No. He said that Shawn's all the men that bought Shawn's Playgirl magazine.
That's probably true, though.
And I thought
don't forget that guy from Wrestling with Shadows. He does Playgirl, and everybody knows more men buy that magazine than women. Remember he said that?
Yeah.
Remember that was right after Computer School. Remember, bro? Let me ask you a question about Computer School. Did Computer School kill Kellogg's, bro?
Hell yeah, she did. ×2.
Computer School.
She killed Kellogg's and Post.
Computer School, bro. Remember, Computer School was a nickname that you and I used on this show to describe a certain build for a woman.
Yes.
Let's not forget.
And it's still valid to this day.
Computer School?
Yeah.
Because of Brett, I went to Computer School. All right. Not School of Morton, though. Not that one. Okay. Push, Barry, fire. Kane, Big Show, and Mark Henry. I'd fire all first. Three, bro.
I'm gonna fire Mark Henry because he ate a shit sandwich and he no-sold it, and because he was a Samuel L. Jackson in Django Unchained for WWE for many years, so he's fired. Big Show has had more heel turns than a lot of our listeners have had pieces of ass.
Well, that's a fact. Even if it was one turn. No more BS, bro.
Bro, the last time we saw him, he took a bump on a car, and we never saw him again.
That's right. We never saw him again. Another guy who Tony Khan. What's the word you use? Bench.
He benched him.
You benched him.
Well, I'm gonna do the same thing, brother. I'm gonna fire this motherfucker too.
I thought you said you were firing Mark Henry
for dropping the ball. That's what I'm gonna fire this motherfucker for.
Brother, you dropped the ball.
And then we have Kane, who's not the Undertaker because he's not CAIN.
No, but he is the governor of Knoxville or whatever.
He's a hardcore right winger. So
that he is.
So you're gonna fire him too. No, he's gonna fire him. I'm gonna bury him and then fire him.
He's already been buried though.
1,000. Yeah, you're right. So I'm just gonna fire him then. So I'm firing all three. Is what I'm trying to say.
That's what I said. But except, okay, I'll play the game for real. I'll push Mark Henry. Why? Because I can draw some money with him in Louisiana.
Bro, they can't call him the Razorback anymore, right? That's racist.
Silverback. The Silverback.
That's even worse, bro.
That is worse. That's an actual gorilla species. I would fire Big Show because he's gonna have to take my BS, and I would push. I would fire Kane and bury the Big Show because and I would bury the Big Show to where I'd have him doing jobs to Javon Evans, bro. That's what we're gonna have it like that, bro. That's the
he's gonna sell John Alvarez's finisher like Hercules Fernandez did Sid Vicious's powerbomb.
He's just gonna get up after the match
at the Garden. Bro,
right.
did I ever tell you that I went to Mexico when I like in 1990
with the black guy and the midget?
No. In 1998, I went to Mexico, right? And I started surfing the channels, and I saw wrestling, and Kane over there was known as Cano el Malo, and I'm like, that's not even the right translation, bro. Because
Kano of Mortal Kombat.
Kane is not Kano, and also, why did they have to add El Malo, bro? Like, we know he's a heel, like, but it was
Conan el Bárbaro.
It was Cano El Malo, bro. I was like, even as a teenager, bro, as a snot-nosed teenager, I'm
you
like,
never told me that, bro. Frente de Vista is still the best.
Yeah, but that wasn't the business. Didn't give him that name, bro. This motherfucker gave him that name.
No, according to him, the business gave him that name. It's just that we didn't know about it because we're not Puerto Ricans.
So Browser Brody, bro, before he got stabbed to death, call him Frente de Vista, bro.
Maybe that's why he got stabbed. And then remember, the funniest part about that whole thing is the fact that
wait a minute, there's no funny part. Well, you're an asshole.
No, there is. Yes, there is.
Because Jose Fernandez was there.
Well, yeah, I didn't like when he touched my pecker in the locker room.
So
no, bro. The funniest thing
when
is
Paul
the
Bettany
fact that
touches your pecker.
Wait, who?
Paul Bettany when he touches your pecker.
No, not Paul Bettany didn't do it. No, oh, my pecker. He'll reach out to it and he'll be like, "This is the truth about what love is," or some bullshit like that. So okay, so whatever the line is. So I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay, the funniest thing is the fact that this motherfucker Jose Estrada or Jose Fernandez, whatever, bro.
Jose Estrada, bro.
He wound up doing children's birthday parties after he stabbed the guy and was booked as a babyface. And that was equal to Bob Backlund as WWF champ.
Well, that was way before, though. But yeah,
it was. WWE continuing to work. It wasn't Tony Khan using CM Punk as clickbait. It was WWE continuing to work with Saudi Arabia, bro.
No, that's way worse than CM Punk, bro. They're taking blood money.
Yeah, blood money. Now, is Punk going to work those shows? Because he did tell The Miz on Twitter a couple of years ago, he clowned him for doing those shows and Saudi blood money.
Hey, those paychecks with all them zeros, brother, you better go do those shows.
Punk's got money, bro, so I don't know. All right, so Boswell or Bronwell Nagales said, fun fan question. If you have to recast my favorite young actor, Julian Hillard from WandaVision, for a wrestler as Billy and Agatha, who would it be? I was heartbroken when he got recast for Joe Locke. Well, I didn't watch that show.
First of all, Danny's a poser.
Because I have a penis and I like pussy, bro. I was watching Cobra Kai and looking at Peyton List.
Let's just say that show, including Billy, is very much. Let's just say that he had a lot of pride being on that show. How about that, bro?
Oh, is that what the show was?
Yeah.
Well, then I'm glad I didn't watch it then.
Let's just say that they wouldn't have any problem with Paul Bettany slinging his dong around in that room like you did.
I'm glad I didn't watch
or
it. Or
Martin Cole, bro, for that reason. I remember Martin Cole.
He's floating around like Dr. Wily in Mega Man.
He was going to do the duck hunt gimmick, bro, where he'll hide and then he'll pop up, but you wouldn't know where.
Right.
As far as young men to play Billy, what about Timothy, whatever, the guy from Dune 2, bro? Like, he's a pretty good actor. He could play Billy, alternative lifestyle Billy. So I would go with him.
I think he's saying recast it as a wrestler, though.
Okay. I would put Javon Evans, bro. He's young, and it would be controversial because he's definitely a next style wrestler. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, but then you'd have all the channels saying it was woke because you're race swapping. How does Wanda have a black son if she's white and Vision is purple?
When you put them both together, you get black, bro.
Oh, okay. I guess that
When you
makes
mix the
them.
colors.
I guess that makes the most
Either that,
sense.
or they could do an infidelity storyline later on.
Well, yeah, they could do the Miro Bobby Lashley storyline later on,
Maybe Luke
which
Cage,
was
maybe
based on
brother,
reality, by the
maybe
way.
Luke Cage snuck into that Wanda world, bro, and had a good time with her for an hour.
Too Cold Scorpio,
Remember,
bro.
he's
Flash
bulletproof.
Punk. So let me ask you something. What do you think about Miro getting out of deeper hell and then going back into it with the same chick, bro?
Beta. You know what? Next to Matthew Hardy's small little picture, they're gonna put a smaller face of Miro, bro. Miro's beta, bro. He went into deeper hell. He got out of deeper hell, which props to him. And then he went back to deeper.
He
So
went
you know
back
what?
in with the same woman.
You know what that tells me, bro, is that this motherfucker didn't fuck for a year and he was thirsty. And that thirst made him think that this bitch was worth coming back to. Even though from what I understand from the scuttlebutt is that she's been fucking around with Punishment Martinez for a minute. So
really going back how far?
About a year since they separated. Let's just say that he was shooting his archers into her, bro.
Oh, is that what it was? He was fucking around with Punishment Martinez, bro. At least it wasn't Andrade.
Not him, her, bro. Not Miro.
No, she was. Yeah, but Miro, maybe the whole thing was she told Miro, "I'll leave him and get back to you." In which case, that's still beta.
Yeah.
You don't leave deeper hell and then go back into it with the same woman, bro. Come on. Dr. D knows better.
Hunty Homo Helmsley.
This is the Hunty. This is the last one we got, bro. From Joshua Oxeguera. How's about Shannon Elizabeth, Trini Kwan, who? And Sofia Vergara.
Let
but
me
you
Google
have
this Trini
Percy
Kwan bitch.
Pringle.
Bro, is he talking about the Yellow Ranger? I hope not, because she's dead.
No, she's dead, bro. That's
Bro, I think this mofo's talking about the Yellow Ranger, bro.
But you have Percy Pringle constantly saying, "Oh yeah," in your ear.
I would do it, but then again, I'm from LA, so
if it's his ghost, I would do it because he's not
if
really
it's
there.
him, bro, him.
But he's dead, like Trini is,
and he's wearing a teddy, bro.
He's wearing the teddy. Remember, he didn't wear the teddy. Taker's mom did. She came.
Bro,
this
motherfucker's sick. That's the Yellow Ranger, bro. She died. I don't want to fuck a skeleton.
But he's also got Paul Bear whispering in my ear, and he died.
Yeah, but he's heavier, so he's not really a skeleton yet. Maybe he is.
All right.
Jay I like how he says off topic, bro. Like we've been on topic this.
And this is actually not off topic. He says, "I think it's BS."
Get it? BS, Big Show?
Of course. That Big Show was sent to developmental for being overweight in 2000, while Taker came back that same year, fat as fuck, and didn't have a good match till Mania 17 against Hunter. I disagree. I think he had a good match against Kurt Angle at Survivor Series.
When he was wearing Aurelian Smith Jr.'s pants, bro.
Yeah, right.
The
but this was before Booger Red, though. This is before he was Booger Red.
Keep rolling, dun, dun, rolling. You know what? He's not gonna be in the Hall of. No, he has the one man show that's not sold out at WrestleMania weekend. The thing about this dude is that remember when Big Blow they sent him to developmental, and then he came back at the 2001 Royal Rumble, and he was fatter than when he left.
That's right. He was. He never got back to the WCW giant.
Yeah, he did.
Look.
Yeah, he did when he came back in 2008 and feuded with Floyd Mayweather. Remember, he even had the overgrown Kevin Smith blazer, and
he still wasn't. But he still wasn't.
He did that spin, bro, showing the lack of panza. He had no panza no more.
I do remember that, but
maybe he went sin pan for a year. We don't know that.
Yeah, I would explain.
But he is beta, bro. He is beta for doing that.
Big Show's beta?
Yeah, for going sin pan for a year.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And for a lot of reasons, bro.
I thought there were more reasons. Well, yeah, he never got back to that look he had in like 99 which was his I just got out of WCW look. He never went back to that. So I watched a match recently. It was Kane versus Big Show on Raw, right? Brother, this guy's taking huge bumps for a big guy. Like he took a clothesline over the top of the barricade and did like a flip all the way over. Like he was taking a lot of bumps for a big guy, bro. Like I don't think he ever took bumps at that ever again.
No, he didn't, bro. He's the big blow. He's lazy. He's big lazy. And
no, Big Lazy is Kevin Nash. Yeah.
No, you know what I think was BS? When the Undertaker cracked Big Blow with the bat and the bat broke instead of his skull, bro. That was BS, bro. I thought Vinny Rue had written that, but it was long gone by then.
No, it was Vinny Rue. That was that was Vinny Rue. That was June '99.
You were dialed in during that time.
That was during. Remember, I rewatched that stuff. That was during the Union story, bro. Remember that Raw where everybody. Remember that Raw where the Testicle, Ken Wayne, Mick, and Vince showed up at the building with 2x4s.
Yes,
it was that Raw,
and they abandoned that angle like 2 weeks later.
That was also the Raw. I think it was that one where it was the one like a month later. Vince against Ken Shamrock in a Lions Den match, and Vince won, bro.
That's right. Of course he did. He's gonna book himself to win. He won the world title.
He booked himself to win, bro.
Now, what about if they would have asked Dan Severn to put Vinny over, bro? You think he would have said yes?
See, you got a Royal Rumble coming up. And you know what's going to happen when those superstars come out to the ring with a real fighter? Then what?
Even though there was like 3 other real fighters booked for that match.
Yeah, but would they have actually gone after Dan the Beast? Probably.
Yes. Ken Wayne would have.
They didn't have Haku yet for another couple of years. Because then he would just eat them. Frente de Vista said, how about Baywatch, Pamela Anderson, Rhea Ripley, and From Dusk Till Dawn, Selma Hayek, but VKM is standing in the corner waiting to squat on one of them. That might actually have happened, bro.
But Frente de Vista, are we like we get to be involved, right? He's not saying this is a scenario without us there. He's asking if we were there, and the answer to that is I would.
I'm not really into Rhea Ripley, bro. That's not my type.
She looks like Marilyn Manson, bro.
Yes, she does. I'm not into that, bro. Selma Hayek.
Who people don't know, that was Paul Pfeiffer from the Wonder Years.
That was Marilyn Manson?
Yeah, bro. You didn't know that?
No.
Marilyn Manson is Paul Pfeiffer from the Wonder Years. Not Kevin Arnold.
Of course not, bro. Or Arnold from Happy Days. That was Miyagi.
So I said yes, without a doubt, yes. It's your turn, bro. VKM is standing there with a black dildo, and he's butt ass naked. But look at what you get.
I don't. No dick, bro. No dick in the room.
All right, he has his underwear on, the Kiss My Ass Club underwear, the black.
Okay,
underwear.
that I might be able to do that, bro. Because all he's gonna do is just shit on them. So I might be able to. Handle
he also has the black dildos.
But he's not gonna touch me with them. He's just gonna shit on the girls.
We don't know that though. It's a possibility.
I want him to shit on the girls. Okay, so here's what we'll do. I'll take Pamela Anderson and Selma Hayek, and then he can do whatever he wants with Rhea Ripley, bro. And then have to deal with Buddy Murphy, bro.
But he's also.
I also called him Buddy Wayne, bro.
No, don't do that.
Now, Buddy Wayne's wife.
Oh, I like her.
The different story. I like her too.
Bud Wayne,
yes. Joshua Oseguera. Are Shane Strickland and Booker T working us? I don't think so, bro.
Dude, yesterday, Joshua Oseguera, is what I want you to do. I want you to go back to last week, the archives. I broke down this entire feud. I said that Booker T, I didn't respect him because he's the Sam Jackson of Django and Shane for WWE for years. And then I said that Shane
Strickland was still there because that happened in 06 and he was still there.
No, but Shane Strickland wears the Vision sweaters from Civil War. He's not really street.
So they both lost.
He plays street.
You said that they're gonna
remember, bro. You don't remember. The winner was Stevie Ray, bro. Through all the
I proclaimed him the winner. You said that Booker and Shane Strickland were gonna have a match, and their winner would be the next Predator, bro. That's what you said, bro.
But all I know is that somehow Stevie Hoffman.
Yeah, because I said Stevie Ray wouldn't put up with that, bro. If Vince said around Stevie Ray
with the beaver tail,
what Dave published in the 89 Observer, bro, if he used that verbiage around Stevie Ray, he would have, with a beaver tail, bro, with the slapjack. Slapjack, bro, the flapjack. Fruit booty.
So, anyways, Joshua Oseguera, go back and listen to that because I break it down even better. But both of these are betas. I don't respect Booker T. He's a Samuel L. Jackson in Django Unchained.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think we're ever going to see Brock again?
Yeah, we might see him against Randall K at WrestleMania.
Okay.
No, I think it depends. It depends on the lawsuit, bro. Like, it depends. He can't be on right now.
He didn't actually go through with it with her. He didn't put his hands on her. So,
but he's named in the lawsuit, though. That's the problem.
He is named in the lawsuit, but so is Nick Khan and Paul and I forgot who else, bro.
But I don't know. I'm not a fucking lawyer, bro.
Do you think
I don't even play one on TV?
No. Do you think that Ronda Rousey, when she said that Bruce Pritchard is basically still Vince McMahon in the company, that's true?
Not anymore. I think there was a point where he was, but not anymore. I think Vince is legitimately gone. Because we would have seen it in the product, bro. Like,
yeah, Omos would have been back already.
Omos and who else, bro? Baron Corbin.
NXT wouldn't be the only brand with black people on it, bro.
Yeah, Baron Corbin would have fucking still been employed, you know?
What's his name now? The captain?
Joshua something or other.
No, that's the guy who left the super chat. His name now is like not what was it, bro? It was not the level above Baron. He's got like a different name now, bro.
Austin Kinkel. I don't remember what they said about Assassin #1. Please remind us, because I know we probably said it on here. Because now I'm waiting for that reason.
Is Assassin #1 Jody Hamilton or fucking
yeah, the racist
Tom Ernesto?
So Jody Hamilton, it would be the Calvin Candy of that era of wrestling, bro. Let's just put it that way.
I guess.
And Booker Hoffman would be his
The issue is that some would say Bill Watts is the Calvin Candy.
No, bro. He loved the African American population.
Well, he loves to make money off of them. That's my point.
Yeah, mandingos.
Right. That's right.
This is a good bit of fun.
Yes.
All right. Do we have any more questions?
No, we don't. I was just wondering if they were going to go through, if they were going to bring us any more. Yeah, they were flirting with a Gunther babyface turn because I think if him versus Brock, he would have been the heel again. But him versus Dominic, he would have been the face. But they did that match. They did Walter and Dominic on TV late last year, so they were teasing Walter going face. Bro, what about the fact that they brought back the British Pete Dunne and fucking what's his name, and they jobbed them out the first week, bro?
Yeah, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate.
I didn't get to ask you about that because I was all like, oh shit. Then they jobbed out the first week.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they're vanilla midgets, bro. Who cares?
But I mean, were you surprised at all?
No, because nobody remembers. They'll probably re-push them during after WrestleMania.
I guess you're right.
They lost to who they lose to? To the Judgment Day, right?
With Judgment Day, yeah.
Yeah, no, they'll be back after WrestleMania with a push.
Bro, the Klinkster just sent me a picture of him with the WWE title, bro. I'm not even kidding. He's flexing with the WWE title, bro.
Is he in Vegas?
No, he's not in Vegas, bro. But I will tell you something that popped me. So he hasn't watched wrestling in a while, but Sting's his favorite wrestler. So he got to see his retirement match with Darby Allin and the Young Bucks.
Real Estate Steve, you mean?
Right. Darby Allin and the Young Bucks. And he told me he's like, and he wasn't kidding. He was actually serious. He goes, I saw the Sting's last match. He was in there with these 3 little kids. I didn't know who they were, but it was a good match.
He wasn't fucking. He was fucking around.
No, he wasn't, bro. He has no idea who they are, bro. He stopped watching before the Young Bucks got like a lot of notoriety. I had to remind him that that's Generation Me. From when I was dialed in, as you would say.
That's right. Not as with the truth. Not as when I was. Sports Guy 515 says, Roscoe, give Fred here a tall beer.
Where's that from?
From
Is that Inglourious Bastards?
Yeah. And he goes
That's
like
right.
that. A tall beer.
Tall beer.
I
Yeah.
have one right here, brother.
I'm not your friend, Palooka.
So
What? You heard what I said, Punchy?
They had asked me a question on the page, on the KLB page. They wanted my opinions on the Daredevil season finale. I texted you, right? It's like,
I know what you said. I have similar opinions to you.
It wasn't a waste of time. I don't think it was a waste of time. It was fun to see Daredevil again. I'm a huge fan, not only of the Daredevil Netflix shows, of all the Defenders. But I thought this show was missing quite a lot. I thought it was very disjointed. I thought there was times where
very similar to what I said.
There was times where it lost its way, and we know why, right? Because it was pieced together. I think the creators, the new showrunners, were thinking this.
It's like Naito right now, bro, barely hanging on.
What, me?
No, Naito.
I know, but I'm thinking the creators were like, okay, this season is a wash. This is more of a reintroduction to the property,
right?
And next season we're gonna give them the real return of Daredevil. That's what I think is. That's kind of what the read that I got, you know.
And I actually said that in my review for the season. I said, okay, that may be true, but that doesn't help because this is the season to get everybody hooked again.
Yeah, you know? but somebody believes in it because the scuttlebutt is that they actually got renewed for a third season too. So somebody believes in it, you know. Maybe everybody agreed that this show was not gonna be as fluid because of everything that happened. So it was like let's just fucking write it out. It's a wash, and then we'll start next year.
Well,
so
you tried to make me fluid earlier when you fucking threw Martin Cove and fucking
the Vision. I was trying to grant you a late birthday wish by paying list on a silver platter for you. But life is hard, bro. Life is hard. You have to earn shit, and Martin Cove had to be doing the duck hunt gimmick for you to earn that, and you said no.
I'm gonna be doing a convention in Houston, Texas, bro. On Harlem Heat. I think they're just a couple of country bumpkins from Houston. So I might be doing a convention in June in Houston, Texas. If she's there as a guest, they've gotten big guests before, bro. They got John Cena and Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox, and
he's doing the Din Malenko gimmick, right? Marty McFly.
Yes, he is, bro. He's doing that gimmick, bro. The Gold Dust in 2003 gimmick when he got electrocuted.
No, that was a different gimmick.
but if she is a guest there, bro, I'm gonna spit game, bro, because I don't give a fuck about Eli.
Look, who baby?
And I'm not talking about Jacob and Eli, bro. Even though his name is Jacob.
No, that's Big Ron and Heavy D, two men that you respect a lot.
No, but here's what pops me. His real name is Jacob, but Hawk's name in the show is Eli. But it's not Jacob and Eli Blue, bro.
Maybe it's
like Glenn Jacob Goodnight.
Maybe that's a joke. The writers are wrestling fans.
Yes, they are. We saw them. Yeah, we've seen several.
Yeah, because there was a Gunther. There was a Gunther in the show.
There was a Gunther, and there was a mention of WrestleMania 3 with the British Bulldogs.
And they booked one of my favorite female wrestlers of all time, Britt
Baker,
who had no lines.
You told me once. So I said back in 2020, 2021 that I thought she was attractive, and you said she was the ugliest chick on the roster, and I disagree with you. You said that.
Popping me, bro.
You said that.
Bro, frente de mistake, bro. I don't know if
You want me to highlight his comment?
Well, no, the very fuck kill, bro, because it makes no sense. So
I don't get it either, bro. But he's Puerto Rican, so that's why it doesn't make sense.
But Ronda Rousey, Charlie Flair,
who?
Which I guess he's talking about Ashley.
Either that or David, who has bigger titties than Ashley.
Well, bigger everything at this point.
According to you.
He's the cuisine and she's the lean nowadays, bro. Look, but then the third option is weird. Dana or Tracy Smith, British Bulldog's sister.
Yeah, and her name was Diana, bro, not Dana. I could tell he's really Puerto Rican, bro, because only a Puerto Rican would type like that.
But
who the fuck is Tracy Smith, bro? Oh, Bulldog's sister. I'm thinking of Diana Hart. Brett's
No,
sister.
bro. But why is it Dana or Tracy Smith? Like, who's
I
Dana?
don't even know who that is. Have they ever shown Bulldog? Isn't that the chick that? Wait a minute, that's the chick that died of cancer. That Bulldog dedicated.
This guy's a fucking asshole,
he
bro.
dedicated the match to her. Remember against Shawn and lost.
She also sang. She sang at WrestleMania 11, and then she died of cancer.
I don't think that's the same person that sang at WrestleMania 11. That was Kathy Huey, bro. You're evil, bro. You're going to hell for that. You're going to hell for that one. Adam Bomb, bro. Edwin J. Garcia.
Remember, Adam Bomb had the nerve atomic bomb.
No, not just that, bro. He pulled an MJF, which makes him Beta. He tattooed Adam Bomb on his arm when he was only Adam Bomb for 2 years before he got cut, bro.
No, bro. You were the one that fucked up by saying that you wanted to feud with Adam Bomb with the nerve Adam Bombs against Hideo Itami, bro.
Hideo Itami, yes, I did.
And there was going to be a spot where he throws the football shaped like an atom bomb to Hideo Itami, bro.
Yeah, that's right. Into the crowd at Tokyo Dome.
You're evil.
Yeah, and then Gojira would show up a few years later, bro.
Bro, this motherfucker, dude, that's horrible. Frente de Bistec, I know that your boy killed Browser Brody and you don't have no fucking ethics, but that was a horrible question.
No, he has no ethics, bro. He's still doing kids' birthday parties.
He's doing balloons like Matt Bourne, bro, at Survivor Series 92.
That's right. Bro, you know what's fucked up?
Bro, Matt Bourne got a payday for doing balloons.
So the WrestleMania 9 documentary, right? We saw a lot of behind the scenes shit. Can you imagine if they were able to show more
the condoms and the needles on the floor, bro?
Well, I was gonna say more of Matt Bourne and Vinny because you know there's a lot more footage they didn't show.
No, you know.
It's a work, Jim. We're working. No, bro, it's a work.
You know how Vinny was doing the Lex Luger gimmick, bro, with the mirrors.
Yeah, but that wasn't him working, bro.
No, but the footage they didn't show us was Vinny going through the run through of the double vision by doing this with Matt Bourne.
Oh, that would have popped me, bro, if he did the
Matt. This is what I want from you, Matt. What's gonna happen is that Steve, and we're gonna see Steve Kerr with no makeup. No, we're gonna see Steve Kerr in the background with the Doink outfit, but with no makeup on his face yet.
That's
bro.
right. That's right. And he's got the Skinner the Alligator Man hat still on, bro, because he was still playing that gimmick like a month earlier.
So Steve Kerr
chewing on the straw, bro.
So Steve Kerr is in the back looking at Vinny. Matt, this is what I want you to do. I want you to fake like Steve's gonna be with you, and you guys gotta do this at the same time. But then, if you watch the show live, they fucked up that spot anyway, bro.
It was still awesome, though. It was still awesome.
No, and that
big dummy Kona Crush fell for it, bro.
No, and Big Kona Crush
should have brought the Spellbinder with.
No, remember, bro. Big Kona Crush is gonna be at ringside in the ring, just watching way in the back, bro. We're just gonna see him like sitting in the ring like that with his feet dangling, just watching in the back with the big ass mullet he had. I miss the business, bro.
Or he's talking to Bruce, like you see him like talking to Bruce or whatever.
Yeah.
No,
or they're looking at the fake arm with lead, bro. Somehow they just have it at WrestleMania. Even though actually he does use it again, right? He knocks him out.
He does use it. Yeah, he does use it. Yeah, it was awesome. I love that. I love that whole angle.
So as Vinny's talking to Matt Bourne about doing this shit, and he's actually doing it with him, Steve Kerr is in the back with the clown suit on, but with the Skinner face still with the hat. And then Bryan Adams is in the back in the ring. We're talking to Bruce, and they're fucking with the arm. That would have been awesome, bro.
Yes.
And you know what's fucked up? We know that scene exists. We know it does, bro.
Yep. And then if you pan over, it's Brett, Pat Patterson, and Yoko gathered together, and all you see is Pat moving his arms around.
Yeah,
bro.
Gaga. He's going through the Gaga.
Yeah. So then what happens is Fuji comes in, throw the salt in the fucking ice. Brett, you go down. Yoko comes and covers 1, 2, 3. So we go home.
Yeah, but
here comes Hogan.
No. Except we see Brett a little confused because remember he doesn't really understand that Hogan's gonna come and take the title. So he's like, okay, he's kind of doing that thing.
Did you talk to Vince yet? No, talk to Vince. That's what it would have been, bro. Did you talk to Vince yet? No, talk to Vince.
And then in another corner we see Scott Bigelow going over his match with Kamala that never
That
happened.
never happened. That's right. That never happened, bro.
But
remember on the tape they gave us Kamala with a bunch of animals or something like that, bro.
Yeah, with the elephant. Ooh,
with the elephant.
No, but it's Scott Bigelow in full gimmick because for whatever reason he never takes off the flames, and then but Kamala's in Jim Harris mode. He has like a vest with like a trucker, and he's right there. Okay,
and then Kamala goes, "Hey man, did those tattoos hurt?" And then Bam Bam goes, "No man, because I'm not a pussy. You got to be a tough guy to get a tattoo like this." Did your banana tattoo hurt? Mr. Lawler told me it was a moon.
What is Frente de Viste? Oh, he said, why use lube when you can use her tears? Man, this guy is mean, bro.
Yeah, he is mean. He's being very mean-spirited. Okay. Edwin says, I think Alter Bridge should make Damian Priest theme song vocals to pay homage to Edge. His current theme song sucks.
It does suck, bro, because it's him singing it, you know? Yo soy de Puerto Rico. They're saying all this bullshit, bro. Soy número uno. You haven't heard that song, bro? It's fucking stupid, bro.
I've heard it when it comes out, but I haven't paid attention to it.
Soy el mejor. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
All right. Amari says Mercedes Monet, alpha or beta? Oh, dude. Her ego. What's the line from Top Gun? Son, your ego is writing checks that your ass can't cash. You've been busted down, put in hack twice by me. Remember, that's when he puts him over. He's burying him.
So are you saying that she's phony tough and crazy brave, bro?
That's right. And then he goes, you've got six flybys the tower and one admiral's daughter, Penny Benjamin. And you, asshole, you're lucky to be here. Thank you, sir. I got to give you your dream gig. I'm going to put you up against the best, bro. That promo. Oh, my God. It's one of the great all-time movie promos, bro. Anyways, I thought you'd be marking out with me, but I do like that movie more than you.
Because you sent it to me like 40 times.
It was once, bro. Come on. It was once and you remembered it. And you remembered it, asshole.
I try to quiz you. Then I try to say like if it was my text because you've been lost in Cleveland.
You try to test me. Yeah.
But you remembered.
Jay Boba says, you guys at least going to work the Roman schedule after Mania for the KLB?
We actually haven't talked about that. Yeah, maybe once a month, you know?
Well, he's not even coming once a month, it seems, bro.
Because I forgot. Yeah, we haven't even. Today is actually the last official committed day that I have to this stream. So, but we have to talk about how.
Well, maybe we could do a post show if you want after WrestleMania.
It wouldn't be that Sunday though.
No, it doesn't have to be that Sunday. It could be like Tuesday because then we'll
come back next week. We'll cover the Raw after WrestleMania.
What is this? Where's the merch? I don't want you to buy our merch, bro, after the mean stuff you said.
Talking about using her tears for lube, bro.
Yeah, I know. Evil motherfucker. We got to get out of here, though. There's nothing else for us to cover. WrestleMania is on Saturday and Sunday. I'm not looking forward to it like I wanted to look forward to it. I wanted to get really hyped for the show. Bro, we never saw Tarea again or that beta who who said that.
Black Heisenberg has been around.
He has?
Somewhere, I think.
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while, but we haven't seen them, bro. I haven't seen them.
So let me ask you this before we leave. Favorite WrestleMania of all time?
17, right?
No, yours, bro. Don't give the poser answer.
I think it's still 17, I think. Yeah.
I'm going to go with 39. Because I was there live and it was a really good show, bro.
Which night?
I was there both nights, but okay, night one. Night one was awesome.
Okay.
I mean, I know it ended on the downer note because Cody didn't win, but it was still.
Night two was Cody not winning. Night one was Kevin Owens and Sammy winning.
Yes, that was great. And then it had that Charlotte versus Rio match that was like 4.5 to 5 stars.
That's right. That was 39. Yeah, back when Charlotte mattered. Yeah, 39 was better than 40, I thought.
Man, you're brutal, bro.
But 40 is better than 41. Well, I don't. Okay, 41 might be a good
Well,
show,
we
but
haven't even. How do you know that, bro? You're not
I
in the
was gonna
future.
say it might be a good show, but I don't think it will be.
Are you
Better
Logan Wade
than-
Stakes who go in the future and knows all this shit already?
He does, bro. I have
Okay,
to
you
for
used
the
to, you
winners,
used,
bro.
you used to know this at the top of your head. I have to look it up. You
You
are
know
getting,
what?
you are getting lost in Cleveland.
Yeah, well, I'm getting old, bro. I'm 41. I'm close to retirement age.
No, you're not, bro. You're
Uh,
20. You're 27 years away from retirement age.
I don't know about that, bro. I don't know if I can hang on that long, bro.
Bro.
Not,
Let me tell you why WrestleMania 39 is my favorite.
yeah,
We had Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul in a great match.
yeah,
We had Rey Mysterio and Dominic, not the best match, but it was a good match and it had a great angle.
right.
We had Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair in a 5-star match. And then we had Kevin Owens and Sammy versus the Usos in a 4.5-star match, and a great combination to their storyline. And then, if you want to get technical, we'll go to the other night where we had Gunther. Remember,
Gunther.
people forget about this great match. Gunther
No,
versus,
that was I watched it again recently.
and that was a great match. And then we had a Shano blowing out his knee right for my energy.
Down goes the money.
And then we had Roman versus Edge versus the Finn Balor was a little disappointing because he cracked his head open and they had to staple it right live on the air.
I liked what they did though.
Yeah, but they didn't book Gun. Remember, they booked Gangrel and then they unbooked Gangrel. Remember that?
Yeah, they wanted to do Gangrel and then they didn't do it, but they're gonna do Gangrel in AEW. I'm sure of it.
They did it already.
Oh, that's right. He did show up.
Yeah,
that's
they've
right.
already
That's
done
right.
that.
He did. That's right. That's right.
The Vampire Warrior, bro.
That's right. That's right, bro. Vampire Dudley when he was a Dudley boy for once in 96, 95.
So I'm gonna give last year's night one a pass because it was cold as fuck. I heard it was like in the 30s and people couldn't. There was no heat because it was cold.
It was a good show though. Even night one was good.
But night 2 was good.
Night one was when Dwayne wasn't that tag match like 45 minutes, bro. It was long.
Yeah. And Dwayne's knees looked all fucked up and shit. That's probably why he didn't work this year.
He looked better than he did in previous iterations, though.
Okay, so you're gonna give me the poser answer of 17, which is whatever. What's your worst WrestleMania? Here we go with another poser answer. Because I have one that is not a poser answer.
Okay. 36 would be because there's no crowd.
Yeah, but it has the AJ match.
But it has it has good matches. It's just that it has good matches, but it's just not a good WrestleMania because there was no crowd. The title matches are both like under 5 minutes on those shows.
Yeah,
and I don't think they've ever done that before.
And that was the start of my disrespect for Drew McIntyre.
Well, the promo was the next night.
Because then he did this. Remember, he did this to say that he was touching the fans.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Yeah, and then he had that match with the Big Show the same night they showed the next night. Remember that?
Yeah, it worked twice, bro. But that's because Brock had an easy night at work.
I mean, bro, but even the Goldberg Braun Strowman match was short. Like that show, 36. Yes, there was good stuff on it, but
it had
36,
it had taken AJ, bro. It had taken AJ.
I know that, and it had the Cena thing with Wyatt. And I actually didn't hate Randy Orton and Edge like everybody else did.
Well, it went too long, 45 minutes.
It did go too long, but I didn't hate it. And I think, didn't that show have Sammy against Daniel Bryan or something like that? Wasn't that also?
Yeah, but that was Sammy doing the Bobby Heenan gimmick, so he wasn't actually working. He was playing the manager who kind of works. So it was a lot of running away, kick and punch, stuff like that. So it was all right.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
But it did have Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins in a great match that would have really gotten over in front of a live audience.
When Kevin Owens jumped off the sign or whatever, did he do that?
And then it had a very good Shayna Baszler when she was getting pushed versus Becky Lynch. That was another good match.
That's right. And then Rhea Ripley and Charlotte was on that show too for the NXT title.
Yeah, right? But that one wasn't a good match. Just for NXT. Remember, she won the Royal Rumble and she chose NXT, bro, which is fucking stupid.
Because they were trying to get the title over. I remember that. Yeah.
And then it had a very good ladder match with the Beta John Morrison and one of the Usos because something happened to where maybe because it was COVID, but it went from a tag match to a 3-way, a ladder match.
I thought it was Morrison against Kofi Kingston or something like that.
No, it was Kofi Kingston versus one of the Usos versus Morrison.
Okay, so he was in that match because that was the match they used the crash pad.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah,
And then it had Elias versus Baron Corbin.
I have no memory of that match. Yeah, you know what? That might be my least favorite, bro. Because at least WrestleMania 11 has segments that we can laugh at, even though that show sucks. And WrestleMania 9 has a couple of really good matches on it.
There's nothing at WrestleMania work-wise. I mean, it has Diesel and Shawn, which is a really good match.
Yeah,
but it has Shawn getting mad at the photographers.
Yeah, he dragged them on the ground. Yeah, but it's also got fucking Jenny McCarthy, who I thought looked better than Pamela Anderson, in my opinion. Bro, let me tell you something, bro. It wasn't long after that I started to beat my meat, and I'm pretty sure it was because of that episode. It had Jonathan Taylor Thomas against the Big Boss Man. That was the best match of the night. Who's the 45th president of the United States? Roosevelt? These kids think they know it all.
Bob Backlund, bro, not the Big Boss Man.
Oh, did I say Boss Man? I meant to say
Man,
Bob
you're lost
Backlund.
in Cleveland, bro. And
yeah, then, I meant to say Bob Backlund.
It also has.
And it had Owen and Yoko Tuna, which I like that. I like that match. That whole.
It also had the $1 Million Corporation running to the ring, bro, including King Kong Bundy, when they shouldn't because of their knees.
And Nikolai.
And Ted DiBiase.
And he played What a Man. You know what, bro? The Razor Jeff Jarrett match had a DQ finish, but besides that, the match was pretty good, bro.
Yeah, it was one of the longest matches of the night. It might have been the longest. It went like 15 minutes because there was also a lot of short matches.
But they opened with dun 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 dun.
Lex Luger, who was the headliner the year before, and now he was a job guy.
Yeah, but we got to see Seb Coulter there, bro. Uncle Zebekiah. They pinned the wrong man. And JR was the guy doing interviews. Mr. Backlund, I saw the light. Did you see the light? He said he saw the light. He was looking at the lights. No, and then Piper, what do you say? Now. That show sucks, bro.
I'm going to go with... Okay, but you're going with 36 then.
I don't like 36, bro. But you know what? 36 or 11.
I'm going to go with 4. Because 4, the more I try to watch it, it gets more and more difficult.
It is hard to watch. It has a great main event, but it is hard to watch.
Yeah, but it's like a 9-minute match.
But it's a good 9-minute match, though. Very good, I would say. And it has Hulk Hogan suplexing Virgil and forgetting about him, bro.
No, but you know which one is underrated bad, bro? WrestleMania 15. Because
underrated or overrated?
Underrated. Not a lot of people talk about it as a bad show, and I think it's a bad show.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's got a great main event. That's probably why.
But remember that one, bro? The rumor was that was going to be the return of the 4-hour shows. That was the big scuttlebutt on the internet. And
I don't remember. I wasn't on the internet back then.
It wasn't that. It was literally just they squeezed 10 matches into 3 hours, bro. So a lot of these matches was very short. It had one of the worst Hell in the Cell matches in the Big Boza match.
Maybe the worst one. Yeah, and it had a lot of angles, like Mick getting arrested. Or no. Big Show got arrested. Mick went to the hospital and then came back before the show ended.
But that match was horrible. That match, it was a 7-minute match with Big Blow versus Mick.
Yeah, and like Frente Vista said, and I said earlier, it is like an episode of Raw. It was like a 3-hour Raw. And then the X-Pac Shano match was okay.
That was probably the match of the night. Well, no, yeah. Steve Anderson and The Rock was.
Right, except for the fact that Steve Anderson forgot his fucking... Remember, Steve Anderson forgot his fucking blazer, so he came to the ring with a shirt, with a Stone Cold shirt.
Yeah, and then they switched
Boys to Men,
and then they switched the New Age Outlaws for no reason, even though they were feuding on the other match.
Yeah, for those who don't know, going into WrestleMania, Road Dogg was in the hardcore division, and Billy Gunn was in the Intercontinental division. And then about 3 weeks before WrestleMania, they switched them, which is weird.
It was like 2 weeks, like 2 weeks before WrestleMania.
Yeah, I just still think that was weird. Like that was a weird why. Like it didn't make sense to me.
Slap me.
And they had a
I talking shit about Ken Wayne, bro.
Well, you can.
Because
He ain't gonna do nothing.
even to this day, you'll still fuck me up.
I trained for a 5-hour match, 5-hour fight. No, but that
tested. We started been tested.
What was the opener on that show? Was that D'Lo and
No, that was the free for all match. D'Lo and the battle royal. Remember another stupid thing?
Tag team battle royal, right?
No, that was 14. No, this one was a battle royal with the last two guys remaining would be forced to team against the tag team champions, which was Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart.
Right.
So the last two guys were D'Lo and Testicle.
That's right.
And they hated each other, so and that match only got like 4 minutes. Remember, it's 10 matches into 2 hours and 45 minutes. The opening match was the hardcore match with Bill Lee Gunn versus Al Snow versus who was the third guy? Oh, Hardcore Holly.
Yeah, and
hey, bro, look, I'm doing it on the top of my head and you're looking it up, bro. What up?
I'm not looking anything up. I'm thinking.
I'll give you the whole lineup if you want. I remember that show.
Well, yeah, but it's not about that. I know Triple H turned
Butterbean was the third match, bro.
That's right. And he offered to work, and then they were like, "No, it's gonna be a shoot." Mike Bart gun.
What was the fourth match? I could tell you without looking it up.
Mankind the Big Show.
No, you looked it up, bro.
I did not look it up, bro.
What was the fifth match?
I don't remember.
It was the bitches, bro. Tori versus Sable.
That was on that show?
Yeah, bro. That was the blow off because Tori was the stalker.
That's right. Tori was the stalker. Oh,
and then that's when what's her name? The bitch from the Howard Stern show. What was her name again?
Oh my God, Nicole Bass.
Do we have a problem? Remember, she went in. She said that over and over. Do we have a problem? And then she gave her a choke slam.
Nicole Bass. All I remember is there was an episode of the Howard Stern show where she showed Robin her vagina, and Robin comes out and goes, "I don't know what that was."
Yeah, but she was just playing along, bro.
I don't know, man.
Okay, what was
Mike
the sixth
Bart
match?
gun.
What was the sixth match?
What about? Did we already say the Intercontinental title?
No, that was the sixth match. But you guessed, so you're already fucked. You guessed.
Yeah, I guess.
But I know it by heart. I actually know it. And then
that's good for you, bro. I don't love that show.
No, but I love wrestling. I could tell you all the WrestleMania lineups from 1 to 41.
Yeah, because you're weird like that.
Bro, who's the one that knows everything about 2006, 2010 TNA? That's even more weird.
I don't know everything about
it. You're like Rod McKay, bro. In your
head, you think I know more about it.
Sam Thompson says, "Hi, Geekdom from Australia. Can't wait for your Dragon Ball stream." So,
I don't know why you're telling me that here, bro.
Keep waiting.
Thanks.
Kid. Keep waiting, kid.
Thanks. I just know that show had a really good main event. It's not the best of the Austin Rock matches, but it is really good. And I think that's why people remember it fondly. But the show overall, I think, has a lot of problems.
Well, there was a lot of turns, too. Twists and turns.
Is that your least favorite WrestleMania 15?
Oh, I'm thinking, bro. I'm thinking. In my head, I'm going through them.
13 had...
No, I said 4. 4 is bad.
Yeah, 4. 13 had...
I could sit through 9 because, first of all, it's really short. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. And it goes by fast. The only thing that I can't sit through is the Mega Maniacs versus Money Inc. match because it's like 20 minutes, bro. It's fucking long.
And Brutus Beefy is not a good worker.
It's just Beefer getting the heat on Beefer, bro, over and over. So I'm gonna go with 4 and 27. Those are my least favorite.
13, 27.
But 27, yeah, 4 and 27. Because 27 had nothing underneath, bro.
Well, it had Undertaker and Triple H. That's it.
Yeah, but that's not as good as Shawn Michael Hickenbottom and Take, bro.
No, but it was really good. And then what about CM Punk and Randy Orton? That was also good.
And it was Randall K fucking doing his bullshit.
That's a good match.
So those are my worst. 4 and 27.
Okay, yeah, I picked 36 and 9. So you like 11 more than 4?
Yes, because it's shorter, and there's something to latch onto. All the vignettes.
Yeah, the John Taylor Thomas
And
and all that.
and I like Diesel versus Shawn
And
Michaels.
you like the intro, bro, where
Remember, bro.
where
Remember,
Vince pretends like we've never seen wrestling.
Shawn Michael Hickenbottom buried Diesel's finisher by almost standing up to it, bro.
Yeah, and Nash called it out that he was purposely. Remember, Kevin Nash said he's like he was going 100 miles an hour, and Sean Oliver was like, "Why? To tire you out?" He's like, "Yeah, I thought you guys were friends." He's like, "Yeah, but he wants that title. He wanted his spot, bro. So he had to prove that he was a better athlete than him, which is obvious.
Which is, yeah, I mean, everybody's a better.
Everybody knows that, yeah.
Super Shredder.
But Sid was on the outside of that one, bro.
Yeah, and then the Raw post WrestleMania, Sid turns heel by powerbombing him 3 times.
Right. Yeah, and that would lead to the Diesel Sid feud that wasn't the best, but it dominated the summer.
And then Sid doesn't get over, and then that would lead into he beat him with 3 super kicks.
Yeah,
that was the blow off of that feud.
That was on TV, I think. Wasn't that like on the?
Yeah, they didn't even put it on pay-per-view. It was on TV.
Yeah, it was supposed to be at SummerSlam, but they replaced it with Shawn and Ray's, bro, in a ladder match.
Right.
Which is a good move. That was a good move.
Yeah.
Because that is I do think that the second ladder match they had is a bit underrated, bro.
It was longer. It was like 24 minutes.
I'm not saying it's as good as the first one, but I think it's very often slept on, bro. I like that ladder match. And that show is horrible.
Alex Quintero's asking about the Limp Bizkit kid, bro.
That's right, bro. WrestleMania 17, bro. I like WrestleMania, and I like Limp Bizkit.
It was the worst piece of art you ever see, bro. It was literally a magazine cutout of Austin's face and The Rock's face, and that won the fucking contest. So how bad were the other ones, bro?
That's what I'm saying.
Did somebody just mail in the cover of Limp Bizkit, like with no art? Like, I don't understand.
He got to go to the WrestleMania, the best Mania ever, because of that bullshit. What about when Paul Heyman goes, "Big ups to my boys in Limp Bizkit," and had to do this shit to the camera? Fred Durst.
We're far away from Oklahoma and Philadelphia, Paul.
Fred Durst, Beta.
Fucking, I don't know about that. He's all right.
No. He's talking about the show we did, the Alphas and Betas, when we brought up Fred Durst, and I said Beta, and you agreed. And he is Beta. Remember, he said he fucked Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and lied about it.
And she called him out on it.
She called him out on it publicly. She said he didn't get no nookie.
Except for Sid Udy has a distinction of main eventing every WrestleMania he's been in.
That's true.
Which is not true because he was in Sean's corner at WrestleMania 11.
Yeah, but I think he means in a match.
That's now you're reaching.
I mean, you're reaching too by saying that a corner.
No, every WrestleMania he's been in. What does that mean? He's been in, so he hasn't main evented all the WrestleManias.
He should have gone back and been Lord Humongous, bro, and gotten that WrestleMania 1 paycheck, bro.
He wasn't in yet, bro. He came in 88.
No, I know he wasn't in yet.
Yeah, he would have been 4. Would have been the first one that he qualified for.
Was it before March? That doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to make is
what about WrestleMania 1, bro? That one's also hard to get through. But it's wacky. I like that one. It's wacky though.
But it's hard. You're right. It is hard to get through because the undercard, like David Sammartino, like JYD against Greg the Hammer. You know what though? The promos going into it though. Greg the Hammer said, "I want to smear your black face into the ring, you nasty black person." He said that as a shoot, bro.
No, he didn't say that as a shoot, bro. Come on.
Well, not as a shoot, but I'm saying I'm being honest with you. He said that. Let me see if I can find it, bro. Greg Valentine racist promo. Greg the racist Valentine. See, it's already there, bro. Let me see if I can share this with everyone so you know I'm not bullshitting. All right. Here we go. Greg the racist Valentine, bro. You ready for this? Too bad it's not fucking Billy White Lions.
Yeah, but that's not from WrestleMania.
No, I thought it was.
No, this guy's not gonna be interviewing people for WrestleMania, bro.
This was on the loops going into Mania, or maybe it was coming out of it.
And this man, the Intercontinental Champion of the world, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
The Intercontinental Champion of the world, bro.
But he didn't say heavyweight like I used to do.
The Intercontinental Heavyweight. Yeah, well, the U.S. Champion of the world's my favorite.
Defends his belt against the Junkyard Dog here in Boston.
You know, I really don't have to defend it against Junkyard Dog. I'm just giving him one more chance. One more measly chance because he insulted me in Madison Square Garden. And WrestleMania, he insulted me.
So this is coming out of WrestleMania.
He insulted
slapping
me.
my...
Insulted.
Huh?
Not insulted, insulted.
Insulted, yeah.
And WrestleMania, he insulted me by slapping my rock and roll man, my manager, Jimmy Hart. I don't take that lightly.
Rock and roll, man.
You understand, Junkyard Dog?
And do promos.
You embarrassed me for the last time. WrestleMania is over. I survived it. Survived Tito Santana and yourselves' little scheme to set me up in a garden, and it didn't work. And now Boston Garden, here it is. This is the bait. As far as I'm concerned, it's the bait, dog, to get you nasty individual, nasty black person into the ring so I can slap you around one more time because I didn't finish what I started.
Damn, bro. What happened to the business?
Did you understand? I didn't finish what I started. You don't know who I am yet. You don't know who I am yet. The master of the figure four leg lock. And you're going to find out. Going to find out real soon. You're going to taste it. You understand? You understand? I'm going to slap you around, boy. I'm going to slap.
And then he called him boy, bro, which is a very racial slur in the South that whites would call blacks. Boy. Well, come here, boy.
Or if you're the emperor,
huh?
The emperor will use that same term quite a few times.
But it's not, my boy. But it's not as bad as Nick Khan referring to Tony Khan as that kid. At least he didn't call him the young knockout kid, bro, because he wouldn't be that. Because like the modern Briscoe brothers, he couldn't knock anybody out. Like Ernie Ladd, bro.
Billy, I'm going to slap you down so you go back to the junkyard, or you go back to shining shoes, or you go back to sweeping the floors, or whatever you did. You're not going to wrestle me no more.
The Hammer Valentine title defense challenger tonight will be Junkyard Dog.
How many more times am I going to have to listen to that horrible rock and roll song?
What did you say?
I was saying he got fatter in like a week. You look at his face, fatter.
A little bit, yeah.
Every time that nasty black man comes out to the ring, playing another one bites the dust. How many more?
Hold on. Look at Mean Gene's face when he says that.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. He knows.
His face, bro. Mean Gene has the best faces.
The black man comes out to the ring, playing another one bites the dust. How many more times am I going to have to listen to that sickening growl out here on the interviews? Junkyard Dog, I'm sick and tired of you, man. I'm sick and tired of Tito Santana. And we're all going to see what's going to happen to Santana when Beefcake, my Beefcake, takes care of him tonight. And tonight, Junkyard Dog, speaking of tonight, I'm in the greatest shape of my entire life. You want to get down and dirty? We're going to get down and dirty. You want to play another one bites the dust? That's fine with me, man, because that is yours.
Jimmy Hart, he's coming,
you understand
baby.
what I'm talking about? That is exactly what's going to happen to you, man. You're going to bite the dust. I'm going to rub your nasty black face right into the ring. You understand? And all that's going to be left is a big black spot. Tonight in the Boston Garden, the true Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, the true rock and roll wrestling connection. Right to me, baby.
Number one, please don't carry on like.
Wacky, bro.
Now, I want to make this clear to everyone. That was not live. That was taped.
Yes.
That was taped, and they still aired it.
They let it run.
That was taped, and they still aired it, bro.
All right, let's get out of here.
Well, I got one more. Hold on, I got one more clip.
Okay.
I got one more clip, bro. A classic. All right, right here. All right, this is a classic right here.
A moment or two for more exciting fucking action. Pencil, yeah, that's
Is your boy right there, bro?
Got Bigelow.
A lot of those they may not be selling. You got any tips for me here? Any special stock I should be looking at?
Can I say hi to Mom? Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
I'll tell you what, this Kamala is just a bundle of laughs. By God, he's done it all.
Push it and push.
One thing I gotta,
Bro, they probably had a good time because remember, this is back when they would do promos the whole day, so they were there for hours.
Yeah, all high on coke and shit.
Yeah, recording all the loops and shit.
great amateur background. Let's look at that body. 22-inch chest, 58-inch arm.
All the white guys laughing at the black man.
I beg your pardon?
Listen, Jim.
Yes, Iron Sheik, the great 1984 Turkey tournament.
Bro, when he first showed up, I thought that was Moolah on his on that flag there. I thought that was Fabulous Moolah.
No, the Fabulous Moolah.
But it was the Ayatollah, bro, and not of rock and roller. No, not that guy, the real Ayatollah.
You're going to be part of it.
You know, I really don't care about that stupid idiot turkey tournament. He reminds me look like Hulk Hogan. Look at his hand. Look at him. Now that redneck stay down. Ah, tough. I'm not interested in that idiot. Bro. That idiot turkey tournament.
Potato the turkey.
Or anybody's going to come out here and put down Thanksgiving or America. And especially, you're not going to come out here and spit on the country where thousands.
The soil.
The thousands of military people that lay in them, in the soil. Not only military, but my own mother lays in the soil of America. And you're spitting on her grave when you do that. So you remember this, Iron Sheik. When that match starts, all the people are going to hear the national anthem. And they're going to be standing loud. And they're going to be standing proud and tall. And they're going to hear what it's like to be an American. And then, when it's all over, after they play the national anthem, after they play the Marine hymn, then we're going to play your song, Iron Sheik, on your way out of Fresno's Convention Center. And you know that song? It's called Taps. Taps. We're going to play your song, Iron Sheik, Taps, as you were. Straighten up your act, boy. You're going to have to go down and do some push-ups. Do you hear me?
Where the devil is the man? I can't figure it out.
Well, knowing Lou Albano, he's on the phone. He's doing some big business. You know, he manages Ken Patera. Ken Patera is a very, very powerful man. In the Olympics and the Pan American Games,
he won 5 disappear just out of thin air.
Well, maybe he's called somebody to bail Patera out of jail. Maybe he's in another scrap again. Who knows who he worked over this time? You know, that guy.
Was this a reference to the McDonald's incident?
Yeah. That's
he's got a short.
That's a deep cut.
Feuds. His mind's half gone. He's the most wanted wrestler in the world. He's won in 9 states. You know, the guy.
Wait a minute. Well, here's an update. It's 11 states now.
11 states, yeah.
It's 11
12
states
cases
now.
of rape. That ain't bad for the weekend.
Damn, bro.
Only 12 cases of rape. That ain't bad for the week.
You cannot say that on TV anymore.
No, bro. What happened to my business?
Yeah. And you should have seen what he did this past Thursday on Thanksgiving.
What'd he do, Gene?
He nailed a turkey from the rear.
Bro.
Fans, stay tuned. We're going to do this one over again.
From the rear.
Yeah, the one with the turkey with the pecker on it.
Big John Stud, the one with the big dick, bro.
Diego Hernandez has a question, bro. I have a very fast answer.
He said,
"What do you think of Stephanie Vaquer? I want to fuck her." That's my answer.
All right. I don't disagree with you.
So what are your thoughts?
I want to fuck her. Same as you, bro. But I'm not gonna fuck her with fucking Sensei fucking Kreese behind me. I got Sensei Kreese, Toby the Jap in one ear, and Madonna's big dick in the right, bro. Or whatever he said, bro. Fucking, I don't want Martin Kreese or fucking Virgil. Not Virgil. What the fuck's his name, bro?
Bro.
Vision. That's
No,
right.
Vision.
I knew it was a V
Paul
with
Bettany,
6.
bro. Paul Bettany.
I knew it was V with 6 letters, bro. And I first thought of Virgil, which says a lot about me. But if Virgil was there, then I really can't compete.
No,
but remember,
Stephanie Vaquer is very attractive, but she's a cluster B because she likes to date Mexicans that whoop her ass.
Which would be perfect for you. That's perfect for you,
come
bro.
on, bro. I don't do that stuff to
That's
women.
perfect for you, bro.
I'm a progressive liberal, bro. I would never hurt a woman. I would
You
never put if brother, let me tell you this. If I think about hurting a woman, I wake up in the morning and apologize, bro. That's how much I would never hurt a woman.
That's the most beta thing I've ever heard you say, bro. Because here's why. Because you might masquerade as a progressive liberal, but deep down inside, you want a submissive woman to rub your feet when you come home from work.
No, that's not true at all. I don't know where you heard that from.
From you. That's where I heard it from.
Frente de Vista says Stephanie Vaquer with TK doing coke naked in the corner, making eye contact. Wait a minute.
He's talking about my scenario with the.
Well, what do you think? Will you say yes to that?
No. I don't think so,
bro.
You know what? TK's barely a man, so maybe I would let him in the room.
Okay,
he's never gotten pussy before, so
TK would be in the corner with eye contact. Remember, that was the thing that Frente Vista said.
Okay, no, then I can. Not if there's eye contact. Forget it. Now, here's the thing, though. I'm going to reiterate something I said on the first week of this show. I said, find me a picture of TK with a woman in the past 15 years, and I still haven't found one, bro.
Yeah, but that's very beta of you because your expectations are that everybody puts their business online, which is very.
It's not about that. It's not.
Very post 87.
No, it's not. If you're a famous rich person, you're gonna have the paparazzi taking pictures of you everywhere you go. There's not a single one of him with a woman, bro. And if I'm following the Dr. D fucking ideology, bro. Remember, he would have never been hit on if he had plenty of women around him.
Which is
true. I don't know, man. I wonder about that kid. The kid, bro.
Even though he's your age.
You know, he's older than me. That's what makes it funnier. Let's get done with this clip here.
Let's redo
Tiny Dick Okerlund, bro. See, they had a good time these days.
While I'm here.
I need a man.
Mark Fabian.
An intercontinental title defense for my guest at this time. Greg the Hammer Valentine. The challenger will be Tito Santana.
Tito Santana.
Greg, come back here. Come back here. Greg, you may laugh about Tito Santana, but Greg, come back here. Come back here. This man is serious. Greg, you come in here, you shout, you rave, you just
Greg
go on and on and on.
Bro.
Julie, please, if you'd come on in here. I want to know, if you sit across from each other at the dinner table, does this guy sit and yell? Does he pass the fucking potatoes? Does he?
I think she's actually like his either wife or rat.
Either or. Sometimes both.
Sometimes both. Where's TK's rats at, bro?
That's what I thought.
Make or break.
Maybe now that Mercedes is not married anymore, maybe he'll try and go in there, bro. But I feel that there's a lot of dogs. That's right. There's a lot of dogs in that pound, though.
Remember, bro. You being a right wing person, you never called them a seamstress. You said the male seamstress.
No, I said male nurse, and I'm not a right wing person. I just don't want a man watching me when I'm with Peyton List, bro. If that makes me a right winger, then fine.
Make me happy. Oh, baby,
if they do this gimmick with Rusev, bro, in WWE, he'll get over.
Can I tell you something as a friend? No, can I tell you something as a friend? Come on in, if you would, please. You're the shits. You really are. You're the worst I heard.
خسرو وزیری و ویکتور ونتر و همه دنیا الدروشا من شما را میشناسم بله بیا آیت الله جین اوکلند و همه دنیا جانکیارد داگ و مردم ایران همه شما را میشناسه مخصوصا مکش.
I think he's just making up words. I don't think
that's doing the how could I put it nicely, bro? The house African American from back in the 1800s gimmick.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Bill Watts was Calvin Candy. That's my point.
Not Bill Watts. It was Vinnie Mac.
No, but the mentality's still there, bro. Now notice that the only reason we know he's there is because he's smiling.
You're a dick, bro.
We wouldn't be able to see him otherwise. I'm not a dick. It's true. I can't see him there.
شارپ انش میارش مک شارپ و همه دنیا پر
بیا
آیت الله ولی کاربو ورنگانیا من شما را میشناسم مولا بیا آیت الله خمینی و مردم ایران کمالا روشن علا بیا آیت الله.
They should have aired this, bro.
They were all coked out by this point.
Anyways, they should have aired that, bro.
This is the end of the night for their promos, bro. They're all coked out by this point.
Oh yeah, they're all fucked up. Yeah. Now we're gonna get out of here, bro. So thank you so much. Maybe we'll come back and do a post game. Maybe
we will.
I'm
down. We could do it next Tuesday or because wait a minute, that's Andor, bro. There's no fucking way.
It is coming up. Yeah, we could probably do it after or before.
No, fuck that. Andor's Andor day, bro. No. We could come back on next Wednesday.
Yeah, well, I mean, there ain't nothing else going on wrestling-wise on Wednesday, so I would agree with you.
Well,
San Francisco, watch my fist go. Dun, 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 dun. Anyways, all right, brother. Have a good one. Take care. See you soon.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.